Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Houma, Louisiana, the steady unraveling of a man's life comes to a head with a devious scheme that left 4 bloody bodies inside one trailer. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. I'm James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. And an extra enthusiastic yay today, it seems like, which is great. We're very excited.
I've had a fucked week.
We've had some fucked weeks, and this is we're going to get through this. This is going to save the week.
Oh God, these days always reset everything.
This and crime and sports. What a crazy ass story we have for you tonight. Quickly, just want to thank everybody for everything you've done for us this week. Little house cleaning here. Thank you for all of your reviews, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Those reviews matter a lot.
Somehow.
We don't know why. It's iTunes and their funky algorithm. I don't know.
What they do.
I don't know what the hell, why the reason for that is, but for some reason those reviews affect us. So give us 5 stars if you haven't yet and leave a review. Doesn't matter what you say. Right. You can't fix us with words.
Can't.
It's not for our ego, we promise. It's just for business purposes. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your small town murder and crime and sports needs.
What can I find there, James?
Well, first of all, if you're not listening to crime and sports, you're out of your mind.
What the fuck?
Especially the last 3. you don't need to have any interest in sports whatsoever. Trust us. It's crazy. So just go back, listen like the last 10 or 15, start there, and you're going to have a wondrous journey and go back through the catalog. Trust me. You don't have to like sports. At our site, Shut Up and Give Me Murder, you can get all of your merchandising needs.
That's the answer I want.
All sorts of stuff too. We have new shirts are up, all sorts of stuff. There's bags up there now and stuff. Tons of things for you to get, and you can take these things to a live show.
Yes, you can.
Where we have a full slate of tickets available, live shows all over the country. Yeah. Tampa and Orlando. You're coming up in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's go. Get those tickets. Tampa, Orlando, coming to you in the next 2 weeks.
God damn it, I'm getting on a plane.
Go to show. Yeah, we're getting on a plane for that. And also LA, San Diego, you're up next. And then Columbus and Cleveland, you're on the hook.
And they're second, aren't they? Columbus and Cleveland.
Yeah, they're in there somewhere. And then also Minneapolis and Omaha. Omaha's already sold out. Minneapolis is getting there quick.
It's going to be
get your tickets.
Bananas.
By the way, in late shows like in November, Dallas, Milwaukee, less than 100 tickets left for Dallas and Milwaukee, each of those, and they're pretty big venues. They're going to be gone fast. So I know it's a long way away, but if you want to go get your tickets, Chicago too is selling very fast, and that's in December. So get all of those and do all of that. Also, if you want to be an even bigger part of the show, a hero of ours, a producer who we gush about at the end of the show because we love them so much. You can do that super easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or heading over to PayPal. You can use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com, and you can get to both of those right from shutupandgivememurder.com, and that's that.
Easy enough.
Easy, right? It's not that hard. With that said, we have to do the disclaimer. It's a comedy podcast. This is comedy. All the stories are real. There's nothing funny about that. That's real. But what we do is try to inject a little bit of humor into it, because there's plenty of stuff out there where you can listen to somebody solemnly tell you about, and then he chopped her head off.
He separated.
That's fine. If that's what you're into,
go nuts.
Be into it. We're trying to make it a little bit lighter and a little more palatable for you, while still giving you all of the horrible details. That's how it works. What we do try to do, though, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
You're damn right.
So that's how that works. If that sounds good to you, damn it, I think you're on board.
Oh, we're gonna have
so much fun, and if that's wonderful. If you think that true crime and comedy should never go together and no jokes should be made no matter what the context, then this isn't for you. You're not going to like the show. So go now and don't complain later. It's much easier. Do that. But for everybody else who wants to have a good time, and we promise you that today, whenever everybody shout it from your car windows, stand atop of your cubicle and proclaim to the entire office, shut up and give me murder, and then look for a new job, because you'll probably get fired.
You're going to get a write-up at minimum.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy. What do you say?
I would enjoy it.
Let's do this. We came from Maine last week, all the way the far northeast, and it was up like real close to Canada, a couple hours from the Canadian border. We were up there and out there in a shining mountain scenario, elevated thing. We're going to do the complete opposite this week. We're going down south, below sea level. These people literally have to crawl in a marsh to get to their town, basically. That's where we're going. Way down south as it gets.
Below sea level.
It pretty much is. We are going to Houma, Louisiana. Houma, which is Houma, but I have been told on good authority it's pronounced Houma.
All right.
Now, by these people, we don't know how they pronounce it, because
because you can't understand a fucking word they say.
We'll talk about it. Down here, this is south of New Orleans.
This is Creole.
This is very southern Louisiana, south of New Orleans. It's all panhandle down there. There's a million panhandles, and this is some Cajun shit. These people, a lot of the people,
lip paralysis.
Seriously, people in this area nowadays, it's gotten a little bit less to that, but like I've read a lot about, like in the 70s when this takes place, I was reading a book about a guy who was from there, and he was talking about how his grandmother only spoke French. Like down there, like they barely speak English down there, and the English they do speak is
barely
incomprehensible to anybody else in the rest of the country. Like, you wouldn't learn English in a class, go there and go, I'm going to speak to the people. You would have no fucking idea. That's another language.
Yeah.
So
presidential candidates skip this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't worry about it. I've heard so many crazy stories about this area. So for this, I'm not doing a Cajun accent, because I can't even start. So we're going to keep with a panhandle accent for these people.
It's mostly because it's lip paralysis, and then they make up words.
Oh, they make up words.
Yeah.
They skip whole letters, the sounds. They can't say a n thing, so they just like skip it, or they can't say like a s at the beginning of a word. They don't have a good s.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. So it's about an hour and 5 minutes to New Orleans, so it's south of New Orleans, that far away. Think about that.
It's basically just every intro into the next Goody Mob song, when the guy talks, like that's the southern thing that you
kind of
you can't understand
mumbling,
what they're saying.
These people are speaking half part French, part dirt person, part Southern, part English. It's all fucking rolled into one really weird cocktail that is not understandable to anybody else.
It's pungent.
It's another language, man. It's weird down there. It's about an hour and 5 minutes to New Orleans, an hour 45 up to Baton Rouge, and about 5 hours to get to Houston, which is kind of the closest normal place, sort of. And I looked, I was like, wow, it's tough to get out of here. It's in Terrebonne County, which is Bonne Terre, like Missouri backwards. So it's the earth. Yeah, we've talked about that before. Zip code 70360, area code 985. It's about 14 square miles. So it's not a big place, not a small place. There's some swamp in there.
14 square miles of worthless land.
Oh boy. Town motto, it's very straightforward, which I give them credit for that. It kind of makes you feel unwelcome in a certain way, but also maybe welcome. Let's see here. Quote, if you can understand a word we say, you're welcome here. I don't know. That's inviting. It's a challenge, kind of. That's a weird, not normally a challenge to tourists.
Same with Guadalajara.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but at least that's a real language. Yeah. This is not a documented language that anyone can speak unless you're
Rosetta Stone.
There's no, exactly. You're not getting that. History of this town. There's a lot of unincorporated areas around here. The largest is a place named Bayou Cane, because it's weird that some of these towns count in each other's census, the way they're set up with these parishes. It's very strange. It's not, Louisiana's not set up like other states. They have parishes, not counties, and it's a whole separate deal that we will not get into because it's boring as shit. I looked it up and I'm like, I'm not explaining this to people.
Parishes are like wards.
This is boring. Yeah, it's the same type of thing.
It's very strange.
It's a set up a little bit differently. Yeah. This place here, it's named after historic Houma is the Native American tribe of the Houma people, who are believed to be relatives of the Choctaw tribe here. The United Houma Nation tribe is recognized by the state of Louisiana, but not federally. So, but they named a town after it, so you got that. Okay. The actual town was formed in 1832, incorporated in 1848. It was, it's French, it's Cajun, like we said. It's so much French down there.
It's Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's pretty much what it is. Yes, when you're pulling away from pirates, if you've been to Disneyland, and there's the guy on the porch rocking with the fireflies around him smoking the pipe, that's Houma, Louisiana. That's an accurate representation of this fucking town.
Beautiful.
You're just going through, except that guy in Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't try to rape you, which I feel like the real guy would dive right into the swamp and pull you from the boat.
Some sort of disease that came from the mosquitoes.
Yeah, from the skaters. Right. So, it's settled by French and Spanish colonists who made their way through here. The Cajuns, it's late 18th century, so 1700s here, the Cajuns settled in the region here, and they'd been expelled by the British, the Acadians, who are the Cajuns, another word for Cajun here, later on. They were expelled by the British from Nova Scotia during the 7 Years' War because they would not take a loyalty oath to the British king. Maybe they could, and they just weren't understood when they tried to. I feel like maybe that's it. They're like, we did our best, and they were like,
words.
"You're not.
We are.
We can't understand you. Get rid of these guys. They're not saying it. They're making fun of us, speaking in some gibberish. I don't know what that is." So, the number is about 15,000 people got expelled from there, from Nova Scotia. About 3,000 of those settled in the Bayou region here. Other people went to France. Yeah. So you either went to France or the Bayou. It was one of the two here. So the French, Spanish, the Cajuns, and the Native American people mixed over the centuries here, and that's Cajun culture. Are all of these different things mixed together and throw in some overalls and a trailer that's sinking into the ground, and you have pretty much
essentially people gumbo.
Kind of. Yeah. It's kind of people gumbo, and that's fine. That's usually that's good, and genetic diversity is good. I don't know what happened here, but
too much of the same.
We found 4 things that don't go together, apparently. French, Spanish, Native American, and Acadians don't go together, apparently. They make Cajuns. Right. So, sorry, we're really making fun of Cajuns.
We're really burning on them.
Sorry, man.
But listen, it doesn't matter. You can't say anything back to me.
Also, listen to the Long Island episode. I make fun of where I'm from, way fucking more. So don't worry about it. I make fun of Italian fucking Long Island culture a lot more than that. So this area was developed originally for sugar cane plantations in the years before the Civil War. There, the antebellum years there, which is obviously before the Civil War started. It's weird too. They, describing this period, they say that from the late 1700s until the start of the American Civil War, they call the antebellum era in the South, because it was marked by great economic growth of the South. Oh. In that time, the late 1700s until the Civil War. It's easy when you don't pay people to do shit. You really get a lot of... You can boom economically when you're not paying anybody for that.
You tell me after the Civil War,
we've done well for
growth
ourselves.
Slowed down.
It's odd, isn't it? It's strange. And some of the profits are taken away by paying people for shit.
Right.
So, interesting thing happened here in 1862. Four Union soldiers were going from wagon from New Orleans to the Houma area. Were ambushed by armed citizens. Oh, armed Cajuns coming at you. Two of the Union soldiers were killed and the other two were wounded seriously. So the army doesn't take lightly to bands of backwoods hillbillies killing their soldiers. So in retaliation, they brought 400 troops into Houma and began wholesale arrest of citizens.
Wholesale arrest?
Just all of them. Fuck them, round them up. Who did it? We don't know. Get them all. Fuck them.
Fire sale. It's free. Arrests for everybody.
This is funny. The Louisiana especially, they had a real policy like that. General, was it Butler, I think, down there, Union General, had a thing in New Orleans where he just was taking no shit from fucking anybody and would have like women arrested in the streets if they said anything to a Union soldier, like negative and shit like that. Just didn't give a fuck.
Badass.
Yeah, so they made chamber pots with his face on it so you could shit on him.
Oh, really?
That's how they retaliated. So anyway,
after eating Southern food, that is a liquid
tough
pot.
One,
that
especially back then. The water's bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's dysentery all over the place.
Jesus, they're shitting all over his face.
Yeah, a historian wrote of these events of the troops coming in. The investigation of the murders lasted several days, but failed to reveal the guilty parties. To frighten the citizens, the home of a Dr. Jennings was burned. 2 other houses were torn down, and the home and slave quarters of an outlying plantation were burned. The soldiers next began to seize sheep, cattle, mules, wagons, and saddle horses. Blacks began to desert their masters and that sounds terrible, by the way. That just does not sound right. And to flock to the protection of the troops, and the frightened citizens had no means of resistance, and they couldn't really do anything. Yeah. And so the slaves followed the troops out of town. Have a good one, everybody.
We're going to go with those guys.
Yeah, we have to now. They burned our house down, so we really have no choice.
Also, they seem to really believe in us not having to do this shit for you.
Yeah, this seems good.
We're going to follow them.
We're going to take off with them. And have a good one. See you later. So sugarcane continued to be a big deal here after the Civil War and into the 20th century, because sugar doesn't grow everywhere in the continental United States. That's why corn syrup is cheaper than sugar.
Really?
Yeah, because we pay people to grow corn that we don't need to. We got to do something with it. Here, make something that'll make everybody fat and die. Can you do that? Could you make something that'll make everybody die? Is that possible? Okay, good. Excellent. Here. No, we're going to pay you extra to do that.
Oh, God, Jesus. You're going to get bonuses.
Yeah, you're going to kill all your neighbors.
Right.
Is that good? Okay, perfect. Here, have a Pepsi. So
God, that shit's delicious.
It's so good. So the real sugar ones are so much better.
You like those better? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's all I buy. I hate the fucking corn syrup.
I don't know, man.
It's gross.
I don't give a shit.
I like it.
It's delicious, and especially with whiskey. Oh, God, Jesus.
With whiskey, I don't know. Once you get into whiskey, the syrups might help it. I have no idea how that works, but... So the swampland around Houma and that whole area was pretty isolated from everything. They talk about it like into the 1930s. It was Pirates of the Caribbean like that, right? It was isolated. Nobody gave a fuck about it. Those people down there, who cares? We don't know what they're doing, and we don't care. And they have this shit land that we don't want anyway. Enjoy.
Do what you want.
That's pretty much what they did here.
Do you, boo?
Exactly. But outside influences, like even like World War I patriotism, like trying to get the war effort, they didn't give a shit. They were like, that's all right.
You guys do it.
We good. We're good. No problem. We're good. They wouldn't become more Americanized. They're just like, nope. This is our culture right here, and we're sticking with it.
Not a lot of change down here, please.
No, please, no. They used French a lot, which was the kind of the whole that was made it harder also when you went there, and these people barely spoke English. It was not easy, and they were in the same country. So apparently the culture is what attracts people down there today, because it's like going to, like an Old West themed place or something. It's like, here's this weird shit that people live like for some reason, and they're fascinated by it, which makes sense. Now, in the 1970s, a whole lot of South Vietnamese refugees came in following, when we left Vietnam. A lot of South Vietnamese refugees came here, and a lot of them settled in this area. They settled in southern Louisiana to work as shrimpers because they had worked as shrimpers over there. So that's the same. It was basically, it's the same kind of, it's a marshy, swampy place with shrimp. So same deal.
That's how Bubba Gump Shrimp Factory came.
There you go. A lot of them settled in New Orleans and also in Houma, where it was a little easier to get into than New Orleans, and also around there. Now, there's still a lot of Vietnamese families down there.
Really?
They stayed in that region working as shrimpers and they have their own shrimping companies and things like that. Downtown Houma is a historic district. The whole thing's registered on the National Register of Historic Places. It's got all sorts of, it's very old school. It hasn't changed. Okay. They've done that on purpose, and now it's become charming. Yeah. For a while, they were like, Jesus, this shithole hasn't changed in 100 years. And now they're like, this charming little quaint town hasn't changed in 100 years.
It's funny how things can change just by the phrasing.
It's just Instagram. Yeah. Now I can take a picture and put it up. It's like, isn't this quaint and charming? Before it was like, it's a shithole. But if it looks cool in a picture with a certain filter, now it's charming. It's fucking amazing.
Airbnb's fixed everything.
There's no running water or bathrooms, but charming.
Do it for a weekend. You'll enjoy what you have back home a lot more.
Great. Yeah. Jesus Christ. This region is, the last 40 years or so has kind of modernized a little more than before. It's still not, up to pace, I don't think, but it's modernized. A lot of the people still work the Gulf and do shrimping and oysters, and they get oystermen and crabbers and fishermen and trappers and all sorts of shit like that.
Seafood's a big deal.
Yeah, but also there's a lot of oil industry shit down there too. People work there, so it's that sort of thing. Louisiana apparently at some point Houma, Louisiana was the site of the deepest oil well in the whole parish. Oh. That's something.
That's dangerous.
Houma was rated as, I don't know what this means, Demographia, that's some site or something's 2013 International Housing Survey rated it as, quote, affordable.
Wow.
So that's something to really hang your hat on.
Yeah.
We're affordable. That should have been their motto. Demographia says we're affordable. Yay. Oh boy. So, people here, population is a little bit over what we usually do. It's usually 30,000 here. Right now it's 33,784. But even if the murder happened right now, this place is weird enough to qualify for small town murder. It doesn't matter how many people are here. Okay. But, when it happened, there was also less than 30,000 people here. We're going to talk about the late 70s.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's the late 70s. Cajun Houma.
My Christ.
This is small town murder right here. This is what it's all about, baby, right here. I'm telling you.
In a time they were embracing body odor in a place where, good Lord, is their body odor.
This is a place where maybe a game warden would be the first on the scene to investigate 4 homicides like in Minnesota in the middle of nowhere. That's small town murder. Yeah. That's why we do it, because a game warden might show up to investigate. How often does that shit happen on, Dateline? Never.
Tell me how many times that's happened. ID.
They cut to the first homicide detective on the scene. I was working 15 years. I had done about 145 homicide cases, and they go through this whole thing, and this guy's like, I'm the game warden. I was investigating a 4-point buck out in the road, and somebody said, come over here, there's people dead. I said, all right. That's
so many
the
people.
Fuck are we doing? So many. So,
well, he's probably, of all the people in the town, he's probably the person that's seen the most bodies at once.
Probably, just not humans, unfortunately for us.
Just didn't happen to have the same DNA as us.
No. Population up about 11% since 1990, so it's growing a little bit. Median age is about 36 and a half, so it's a little younger than the average. And that, whenever you have oil work and kind of a lot of outdoor work, you're going to get a younger crowd a little bit. Female and male is about same as average, a little over 50% for female. Married population's a little lower than normal. It's about 45%. 50's the norm. So it's a little more than that, but there's a divorce rate's a little bit high. Everything else is kind of close to normal. Single with children, that's a higher aspects. And when you have a divorce rate that's higher, you're going to get more single people with kids walking around. Racially, it breaks down. It's almost the exact amount of white people as the national average.
Interesting.
It's 61.53% white people. National average is 61.46.
How about that?
So that's they're right on the money there. Black population here of 25.69, which is double the national population, which it's Louisiana. Asian 0.73, which is way less than the 5% norm, and I assume that is the aforementioned Vietnamese population. I don't know what other Asians would. I don't know how you would think to go there. No. We're going to travel the oceans and end up in Houma. It's like,
I live in this country. I've never heard of this.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way somebody in China's like, we got to get out of this country. Where are we going to go?
It's the only place I've ever heard of this is Jim Cornette, the old wrestling manager, complaining about how fucking redneck it was back in the day and how the people, you'd have to fight women. Like women would come up and punch you in the face, and he would be like, I'd be scared of them. They'd be big women with overalls, and they'd come up and sock you, and I'd think about it and then just go the other way. He goes, people would try to stab you. Guys would pull guns on you in the parking lot. Just posses of hillbillies. Overalls, literally would say tobacco juice dripping down their chin, try pulling guns on bad guy wrestlers because they're, they really
believe it's real.
They get it down there. Yeah. It's like, whoa, man. This is some interesting shit down here. And apparently that they thought it was real a lot longer than most people, from what he said. A lot longer than most.
They didn't get the news.
They didn't get the news. They missed out on that. The radio was out that day. And it's funny, too, like the TV station in this town, like one of these people I was reading, somebody wrote about it, and they said there's one TV station, and it has a nightly news broadcast, and then it has like a call-in thing after that, and then it's a bunch of religious shit.
Oh, boy.
And they said like the programs are always getting like preempted for extra religious programming and shit. He's like, it's the worst television station there is. 66.3% of the people here are religious, so that's some superstitious, some stuff going on down there that's going to be more religious. Normally it's about 50-50, 10% Baptist, 49.2% Catholic, though. They are Catholic down there. That is one thing. 0.0% Jewish. Like, no, I don't think so. 0.0% Islam. Maybe I'll pick somewhere else to move than there. Last election, this is in the county, 24% voted Democrat, 73% Republican, as it's pretty rural. So it's just how the statistics break down.
Very Catholic.
And very Catholic. Unemployment rate here is 5.1%. It's a little above the national average, but nothing to go crazy about. Median household income is about $43,000, which is the national average is about $57,500.
Yeah, could be worse though.
Could be a lot worse, but the problem is it's a kind of there's a chasm between people with money and people who don't have money. 21% of the people make under $15,000 a year.
21%.
21%, and 29% make under $20,000 a year. It's basically a 30-year population makes under $20,000 a year. That's not a good economic. No matter what the median income is, that shit doesn't matter. That's bad.
Not going to help.
Yeah, a lot of poor people is what that means. A lot of poor people. So a lot of the jobs here are like the mining and oil and shit like that. It's 10.5% of the jobs. It's normally less than 1% of jobs. So that's the main kind of thing. Retail trade a little bit because there's some tourism there for some ungodly reason. Food services, I don't know. Cost of living in this town, normally 100 is regular average par. Here it is about 94, and the housing is an 81. So not terrible. Median home cost $164,400.
Okay.
So not awful. It's, could be worse. Put it that way.
Poor people can't afford that.
No, and there's a vast variety here. Like there's 7% of the houses are worth less than $20,000, which is double what the amount it normally is. Not a lot of anything over $1 million. Not a lot of that existing here, but a lot in the $100,000 to $300,000 range. And if we've convinced you to get down south as far as you could possibly go, we have for you the Houma, Louisiana Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $895. which still seems like too much.
That seems high.
Yeah, the national average is about $1,250, but still too high. I found a 4-bedroom. This is a lot to do with neighborhood and area here is what I'm doing this on purpose. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,950 square foot place in not a nice neighborhood, $110,000.
Okay.
So that's a nice house.
Yeah, cross your fingers that it gets gentrified.
Yeah, or not gentrified at least, but just not criminalized, vandalized.
Pray that they'd start obeying the law.
Homicidalized. Found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot house in a nicer area, $129,000. So, littler house, better, whatever. Then, if you don't care, it's just a nice house. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,779 square foot house. Very nice, spread out, nicely done. Kitchen's very nice. $377,000. $400,000 to live there. Things to do. Holy shit, did I find some things to do.
There's
Jimmy.
a lot?
I found some stuff to do. This is wonderful. I found the Jesus Christ, Tab Benoit's Voice of the Wetlands Music Festival.
Who the fuck?
Tab Benoit.
Is Tab Benoit.
He's the guy who runs the Voice of the Wetlands Music Festival. That was established in 2005.
Is he like a comedian where he failed and he was like, fuck it, I'm starting a festival?
Maybe. It showcases, they claim it showcases dozens upon dozens of world-class musical artists, kicking off the weekend on a serious musical note in the traditional Friday night guitar fights with performances from the likes of Joe Bonamassa, Tad Benoit, Sonny Landreth, Paul Bearer, Camille Baudouin, Mike Zito, and Joe Stark. Joe fucking Stark's going to be... Hey, get in the truck. Joe Stark's playing. Sarah, round up the kids. Everybody call them. Get the dogs. We're bringing the fucking everybody. Tell the neighbors. Is your mom, does she know?
You know what? Fuck this whole festival. He said start on a great, what did he say about,
serious musical note.
Oh, fuck you.
Serious musical note.
Fuck off. Serious.
Oh, yeah, serious. Very serious.
Serious fuck off. That's what that is.
Oh,
Jesus
man.
Christ. He had to throw a pun in his advertisement?
Oh, my God. This is terrible.
Fucking jerk.
In the past, they've had Susan Cowsill, Amanda Shaw.
Well, great. I missed it.
Chubby Carrier.
Not Checker?
Not Chubby.
What
no.
the fuck?
He carried Chubby Checker. I was the guy who carried Chubby around. So that's my gig.
And I learned to play the guitar.
And it says, and especially Louisiana LaRue. Gotta have them. I don't know what the fuck that is. Whose appearances
Stoney's relative?
Apparently must see tradition. They're saying there. It's rave reviews sold. Also, there's food, camping, stay the night, and enjoy the moon, stars, and some late night jam sessions. No thanks. There's a crafts market, a poster artist there who'll make posters for you. Apparently, he's worked with the Grateful Dead and Fish, so it'll be psychedelic and trippy anyway.
Lots of tie-dye.
There's a kids area. It's just a pen, I feel like. Yeah. We're going to get drunk now and listen to John Stark. So y'all going to have to stay in here, and they probably have animals for you to pet or something. I don't know. Bye. And just walk away.
Stoney didn't show up, but we got Louisiana. So we're gonna go watch that shit.
Have a good one. You can volunteer. A note from Tab Benoit, the president. Let's hear what Tab has to say.
Oh, boy.
He says, I live in the heart of it. I grew up on 300 acres. We have 40 left. That's a big deal. You tell anyone who has 300 acres of land in 20 years you're going to have 40. It's not that somebody took the land. It's not land anymore. It's open water. The places I wrote my first songs are gone. The places I learned to play and camp and hunt and fish are gone. It's open water now. It used to be cypress swamps and bayou trees. That hits home when it happens so fast. So there's an environmental message behind this festival, apparently.
What is going? Is it Tad or Tab?
Tab.
Like the soda.
Yeah, Tab.
What the fuck?
Waters have encroached on Tab.
Okay.
And I feel
everywhere
like
that I have memories is all underwater.
It's all
now.
underwater. Well, you shouldn't have bought 300 acres of land that was 20 feet below sea level, probably. That's a good start. So, also the Rougarou Fest. Rougarou is described as a creature with the head of a wolf or dog and a human body.
No.
So they're going to have a festival about that. It's been handed down, the legend, for many generations. And
the legend?
The legend of the Rougarou.
It's a lie.
It's just a...
There's no...
dog head, man body. How you doing? I wonder what he speaks.
Legend.
Asian. I can understand dog better, but that's fine.
Legend has it.
Legend has it. There's a man. I don't know. It's a rougarou. It's got the body of a man and the head of a dog or a wolf. I mean, we're not being picky about it. It's just a chompy thing. Barks a lot. I don't know.
I'll buy it. I'm
in. Let's go to have a festival about it. Fuck, this place is weird.
Festival
what
about
is happening? What's festival? I don't understand.
I don't get it.
I don't. So
we're gonna get a message from one of these.
Oh, someone's
musicians.
Yeah, you know it's gonna be Tab Benoit's gonna message us and be like, "Listen, guys,
I take offense. I
say." He's gonna foghorn leghorn himself around an email. It's half written in French, and we're not going to understand what the fuck he's talking about. I will give all the credit to
fucking Mr. Ross and the North for composing a thoughtful message.
That was great. Comedic. Yeah, that was great.
There's no way this fucking guy's going to get the joke. He's going to be like, you guys are just not understanding.
Y'all are bastards.
Have y'all ever lost land to a flood?
To the water?
Well, I give you a lot of credit, Tab, for having the forethought to buy land that's fucking slanted.
Yeah, it's good job. Nice work, Tab. Who knows about Tab?
Unbelievable.
The crime rate in this town, what we're interested here, is property crime about double the average. Mm-hmm. So they will steal your shit down there.
Listen, they're pissed.
They're pissed. I would say so. Losing all the land. They got to steal something. Maybe that's what the floodwaters didn't take it. Someone stole it. Right. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is a little high, but in the ballpark. It's within under 10%. It's high, so it's pretty close there to in the ballpark. So let's talk about a murder.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yes.
I think that's where we need to go.
Fuck yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Okay, let's do this. August 11th, 1977. Let's start there.
Okay, so, Tab had 350 acres at that time.
Tab's land went as far as the eye could see. Here to the sunset. That's Tab's land. So, 77. So you have to imagine Houma, Louisiana in 77. So everything we described it as was still in effect then. It's a modernization. There is no internet that's brought these people. This is one TV station.
Right.
They think wrestling is very, very real and are willing to stab somebody over it. This is what we're discussing here. It's an interesting time. So very rural and about 30,000 people in the area.
Okay.
So around here, August 11th, 1977 is where we'll start. start. And we'll start with Wayne Melanson. I think that's how you spell his name. Melancon. So it's
could be Melanson.
Melanson. Yeah, there's Melanson. There's a million different ways to say that. So I'm going to say Melanson.
Or we can call him by his first name.
We'll just call him Wayne.
That's real easy.
He's not in the story very long, so Wayne doesn't matter that much anyway.
Let's just go with Wayne.
How about Wayne?
Yeah.
Wayne is, and I don't know what this is, a wireline operator. Is that an electric thing, or is he like running a zip line?
He could be like, Jesus. You know what? The last time I guessed something,
what is happening?
Because you said pipeliner, I didn't realize that was one word. I saw it as two words. Pipeliner like welds pipes. I know that.
Pipeliner,
for sure.
It's in pipeline.
Right.
Yeah,
see what I'm
different
saying?
thing.
Okay, so this
is one word, wireline wireline and separate word operator.
But you know what? It's the South, and they could throw you for a
Who
fucking
the fuck
curve
knows?
too.
I assume it's something to do with oil, based on where they are.
Could be like the rigger
that's something to do with in an oil field or on a rig.
I'll bet that is
something. That's what I assumed it was.
Because a wireline operator doesn't make any sense in I've never heard
an electrical
that term in the electrical industry.
Okay,
never.
so that's what I said. It's either an electrical term, and Jimmie will know it, or else it's an oil thing. Either one.
I can understand a wire operator or a line operator. But a wire line? What?
So anybody out there who knows anything about wireline operators, you can go ahead and tweet us and let us know.
Feel free to tweet.
Yeah, this is a feel free to tweet moment.
And then the other point is that if you feel like you want to tweet, Google or search on Twitter wireline operator and then our handle. And
just
if
to
the
make
tweet
sure.
exists, put your thumbs underneath
do
your
that.
butt.
Another thing, and this is a tip, and I'm not trying to be a dick here.
Yeah.
When people tweet, do an episode on this person for Crime and Sports or do this, just go to whatever you listen to and search Small Town Murder or Crime and Sports and then the thing you're looking for. And it'll pop up if we have an episode on it or not. So it's because then if you ask me, I don't remember, so I have to find it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's episode 70, but I didn't know that off the top
remember
of my head.
the names.
Yeah.
But so if somebody says, would you guys cover Toe Nash?
Yeah.
We did.
Which
did. One? Well, what the fuck?
You got to go in, Crime and Sports.
No, I got to do research for you.
Crime and Sports, Nash.
Right.
Okay, episode, whatever the fuck. 70, I think. So there you go.
Right.
So coincidentally, he was from around this area.
That's why I said it, because he's from Louisiana.
Very, very. It happened yesterday on Twitter there.
Right.
So this wireline operator, which we're unsure of what that is, Wireline Wayne over here.
Yeah.
He works in Houma, Louisiana. He is driving in the rain through Houma, which sounds miserable.
Sounds sticky.
By the way, it is so fucking hot here.
Really?
Oh my God. I was looking up the temperatures. The average temperature in June, July, August is like 105 degrees, 104 degrees. And the humidity is like 180%.
Yeah.
So it's just sticky.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking brutal, man.
That always fascinates me. 100% wet. How does it get more? How can it possibly be wetter?
So humid. Like you just can't. Rain is a relief. At least it's actually turned to water now because it's wow. What an awful thing. So he's driving in the rain and he sees a couple, a young couple in their 20s walking in the rain, husband and wife.
Sure.
And or he doesn't know they're married, but he just sees a man and a woman walking in the rain, and they look to be together. So he stops and offers them a ride, and he ends up picking these two up, and they hop into his dry car, which must have seemed like a godsend at that point in time. So they never met before. Wireline Wayne had never met this guy he picked up or his wife. He didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
He ends up taking this couple to their house, to their home, and he helped them unload. I guess they had some groceries that they were carrying in the rain. That's why he stopped. And so he kind of, helped them in with the groceries. And they were like, yeah, come on in for a minute, grab a drink. They're just friendly. This is some small town shit.
Yeah.
Number one, in a city, no one's picking you up. And number two, if they do, they're going to drop you off like a block away from your neighborhood. Like, is this good? All right, good. Get out.
Close enough.
They're not going to offer to come in and help you put your groceries away.
No.
Like, I'm going to help that hitchhiker stock his pantry quick.
That is fascinating because I have seen people walking down the street carrying groceries, like a lot of them, and I'm just like, Jesus, that sucks. And I kept going.
Yeah, because you're from
you poor fuck.
You're from here.
My first thought is there's probably guns and weapons and shit they're going to rob me with in those bags. They got a lot of guns in those bags.
Wow, he needs a whole bag for him.
There's no way I'm stopping for that murderer.
A whole bag of guns, huh?
Meanwhile, it's probably just some dude trying to feed his family.
Yeah.
More than likely.
More than
likely.
More than likely a bag of guns. You're right, Jimmie. So
There's no in Arizona. There's no fucking.
Everybody's armed.
Yeah, everybody's got a goddamn gun.
We were in I took my daughter to Target the other day, and we were walking in, and it was just so. It's one of those cases where I'm standing there, and we were looking at headphones. Yeah. I needed headphones, and there's a guy next to me, and I look down, and I just glance over at a guy next to me, and he's just got a giant gun in a holster right on his waist, right there, and he's not a cop.
No.
Definitely not. He's got like paint stains all over his pants and shit like that. And like, he's not like an on-duty police officer or anything. And I'm just looking at him. I'm like guns or not, like, we're in Target, dude. Yeah. You're in the Apple section of Target. Come on, bro, leave it in the fucking seriously. I get you want to defend your home or whatever, your family, but no, I guarantee you no one's going to attack you while you're looking at Apple headphones. I need a 6-foot cord. Oh shit, intruder. Like, that's not going to happen. Relax.
And to that point, I carry a gun a lot, all the time.
In
but
Target?
Guess what? It's tucked away. You can't fucking see it.
In Target?
Yeah, I do.
Why are you have a gun in Target, Jimmy? Stop carrying a gun in Target, you dumb fuck. That's how accidents happen, you stupid bastard.
It doesn't happen.
What's going to happen in Target that you could possibly defend against?
I have no fucking idea.
In a giant store with shelves and tons of people, you're going to let off shots that ricochet all around and kill children? No.
Movies,
why?
Because
it's a dark place. If someone starts firing off guns, the last thing you need is crossfire. Fucking duck.
That didn't work out for 50 people in Colorado.
No, dark theater with flashing guns. You can't see shit. You don't know what's happening. You're going to end up shooting the wrong person that's scattering.
I only have them because fucking everybody else has it.
Jimmie's going to be firing into the ceiling. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'd rather be that guy than the guy with my hands over my face going, not me, I got kids.
If you can't see him, it doesn't matter. Just take it to a place where you could actually possibly defend yourself is what I'm getting at.
My point is that where else am I going to take it? To the gun range? They rarely shoot up dudes at the gun range because everybody's got a gun there.
Well, also too,
they
it's
like
kind
to
of a
go
secure
places,
location.
Right, but they like to go places where nobody's got guns, and I'm scared of that.
Where is that?
Everywhere else.
Everyone has a gun here. You just got done saying that.
No, I mean
So do they have guns or does everyone not have a gun? Which one is it?
I mean it's not obvious that everybody has the gun.
Okay.
At a gun range, everybody's got one.
Yeah,
but in Target,
they're out and loaded.
Right, that's my point. Yeah. But in Target,
goggles
you
on and everything.
assume that nobody's got them unless it's in fucking Arizona.
That's what I mean.
In California, nobody's got a gun in Target. In Arizona, fucking
people got
Costco, forget it. You could stand at Costco and see more people going in with a gun on their hips than you could sit at a fast food counter and watch people drive away and take a nibble of the fries out of the bag.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And if you've seen the people going into Costco, I don't trust all these people to handle firearms. I just don't.
That's why I don't shop there.
I don't trust people to drive correctly. I don't trust people. You know how when you get McDonald's, like Jimmy was saying, you eat the fries, you pull away 5 feet, and then you look in the bag and check? Yeah. That's because people do shit shitty. That's why.
It's true.
You don't trust him to make a fucking hamburger. No. What if he's armed? That's even worse. People are stupid.
Great point. We got a dude that can't make He
can
can't count cheeseburgers and put them in a bag, but he doesn't have to count ammo, I guess.
Here's the deal. You can all have guns, you just have to talk to me first. That's it.
Give James a call.
That's it. No fucking laws. We don't need all this bullshit. I'm not trying to make any extra.
It's a short questionnaire.
Come here. Are you a jerk off? Talk to me for a minute. Hey, asshole. I want to have confidence in you as a human being before you walk out of here with the ability to kill a bunch of people, you stupid fucks. So that's all.
Holy shit.
And if you pass, fine. Walk around Target. Knock yourself out. I trust you with a gun. You're not going to start shooting people.
It's just because I'm a victim. I'm a goddamn statistic, and I don't want to be again.
Well, understandable.
I'm tired of it. It's happened too many fucking times.
Oh yeah, I get that. It happens. So this guy, though, he takes these people home and helps them unload their groceries and, quote, visits for a while. He doesn't know these people. He just drove them home and he's just hanging out in their home. And he asked the Wireline Wayne, asked the two people, him and his wife. He said, hey, you guys should come over to my house to get better acquainted. He said, well, let's all hang out more. This is great. I've never heard of a hitchhiking situation turn into a...
this has been great. I appreciate the
Literally what it was.
I'm going to return the favor. You just gave them a favor.
Y'all have been good company, is what he said. Why don't you come over to my house and get to know me a little better?
Holy shit.
So they were like, sounds good. You know what I mean? Which, anybody who's picking you up, you're leery of them, and then you let them into your house, and now you're going to go to his house too. This is all just very trusting 70s Southern shit. None of these people, Law and Order hadn't been on television yet. Not a lot of media got there. I feel like they're like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
He's got, bad moonshine. I don't know. What's the worst that could possibly happen? So the couple go to, not the couple, just the man who he picked up. They go to Wireline. He goes to Wireline Wayne's house with Wireline Wayne, where they listen to some music.
Yeah.
Tab Benoit, I assume.
Sure. Some Allman Brothers.
Some Joe Stark and some Louisiana LaRue is going to be in that mix, I'm sure. So they listen to some music, and finally Wireline Wayne says to his new buddy, let me show you my gun collection.
Oh, no.
I got a gun collection.
Now it's out.
I
mean, I was already out, but now I'm like super out.
Now you really don't want to go to this guy's house. Yeah, it's bad enough he wanted to help me put my groceries away. First day
I met you.
Now
you show me your guns?
We've been to both of our houses. You've seen what I eat for dinner. We put it away in my pantry. You see how I live, I bought the 10 for $1 ramen noodles, and you saw it. That's fine. That's what I'm going to eat tonight.
This is the weirdest interaction ever.
So, and now he's over his house, and he says, why don't you come? We're listening to music. There's some picking in Why do you have that in there?
That's an Allman Brothers song.
It is an Allman Brothers song. Yeah, this is the weird part. I thought of that, and I went, not hicky enough. Allman Brothers, not Southern enough for me for this particular thing. Like, they're listening to
a song that fucking Willie Nelson covered, and I think I don't know if Willie covered it. Willie may have written it. Hell if I know.
This has got to be like banjo music, like fucking like some Cajun shit. I don't even know what's going. Or maybe not. Maybe it's the 70s. Maybe they had good rock. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe they had the Allman
Midnight
Brothers.
Rider seems like something that is creepy enough for a dude that picks up people to be listening to.
And it ends, and then there's a 3-second pause, and then he's like, I got it on
this shit end?
I really like this song. I put it on repeat. You're like,
God
put
Lord.
Midnight Rider on repeat.
To keep from hiding.
I hope I'm never going to let them catch him. Okay, that's fine. That song, by the way, has 4 lyrics.
It really is.
It's never.
I don't own the clothes I'm wearing. Yeah.
And there's like 2 other lyrics. That's it. That's it. It goes. It's the least meat on the bone song ever fucking made. And they're like, I think they'll dig that chorus. They fucking better. There's nothing else to it.
And it's 4 chords. And by the way, I love it.
And it's that's what I mean.
And
it works because it sticks in your head.
Fuck yeah,
they're like, we need a jingle. It was written as like a
commercial before commercials fucking existed.
It was they existed. It was written for like a soap commercial, and they were like, "This is too good for Dawn.
Fuck Dawn.
Fuck no, this is way too good for Palmolive. We're gonna make this longer.
Top 40, motherfucker.
Yeah, tell them about Silver Dollar, and you write a lyric about some of that. Yeah, it's a hit.
Tell them about
it's a hit. You know how to do it. Just try to say some shit.
It really is a dumb, not thought out song, and it's fucking great.
It's like improv. It's like a comic that got on stage with no material. And got on one run of a joke and just kept it going the whole time, and there was nothing to it really. It was the same callback, and then he's like, later. Like, I think that was funny.
At the end, the crowd walked up and went, it's the greatest show I've ever seen. Do you remember a joke? I don't remember any of them.
Shit.
It was fucking amazing.
It was amazing. It was the best. So, Wireline Wayne here, he particularly shows his new gentleman friend a Colt Python 357 pistol.
My Christ.
So, this is
it's a lot of weapon.
That's a fucking lot of weapon. Yes, and it's a 4-inch barrel, and he kept this one hidden under the mattress of his bed. This was his like home protector here.
That's homeland security.
I have owned a 357, and it is a fucking hand cannon.
It's not fun to shoot.
It's gigantic. Well, that was the thing I had. I'm like, if I ever have to use this, I'm going to deafen myself. So do I want that as the ramification here of deafening myself?
I mean, my carry's just a little bit smaller and as equally fun to shoot. It's a 38. It's loud and it barks. That's the only reason to have it, because if you don't hit them, they're gonna take off. Well, that shit's scary.
This was a 357, had a 6-inch barrel too. Yeah. It was like ridiculous.
It's a lot of weapons.
It looked like oh my God, it was. frightening.
It looks like
looking.
you're going to go rob a Quick Mart.
Yeah.
Like it's just a terrifying, menacing weapon.
That was when I first moved to Arizona, and I was like 19. And I was like, in New York, you can't have guns or anything. And I lived in a kind of a shitty area, and people were crazy. I'm like, I'm getting a fucking gun. Fuck that. So this giant gun. And then I'm like, why do I need this? I don't need this. I fight well. I'm good. I just started carrying a box cutter like back home. I was
great.
like, that works.
That's so much more gangster.
I just so
close and personal.
I wear that. I keep that on stage with me. Anybody want to bum rush me?
I got a box cutter.
I keep a box cutter, motherfucker. Yeah.
I keep that fucking blade that the ladies in
I love that. That's the one I bring now.
Benchmade? Fuck yeah.
That's the one I carry that thing. It's better
everywhere.
than a box cutter. Yeah, that's
so good.
Those were so nice. Those knives. Thanks again for those.
Yeah.
So this gun that he showed him was loaded with hollow point bullets too. So he means business. Yeah. This particular setup that he has arranged, and the bullets had been modified by Wireline Wayne.
What is he doing?
By cutting an X across the bullet points, he said, to give them more knockdown power. Yeah. So that's his. So he's. You don't need to modify a 357 bullet,
especially not a hollow point. They're gonna break apart anyway, and he's cutting X's in them to make them break up
make them worse. And not only that, it's under his mattress. So he's the only time he's ever planning on using this is if it's someone's in his bedroom,
and he's woken from a dead sleep.
So how much more power do you need to shoot somebody from 5 feet away with a fucking 357? It's gonna work.
Yeah,
just the sound of it, even if it doesn't kill him, he'll go, "Ow, my fucking ears!" and run out screaming. Jesus, I can't hear. He's leaving.
Yeah.
Everyone's leaving. So he's showing this guy this shit. And so who is this guy, the hitchhiker? Who's he fucking talking to? Who is this guy? Well, he's David, and his name's David Martin. His middle name is Dene. So maybe. Are they going for Denny or are they going for fucking Dean?
I feel like that's Dean.
Either way, you did it wrong.
Yeah.
That's not Dean or Denny.
Yeah, it's not the right spelling for sure.
No, not even close to this shit. So David Dean, we'll call him David. Oh, it's probably Dean Martin too because he was born in the 50s.
There you go.
Oh boy.
They just didn't know how to spell Dean.
Wow. And they're not even from here.
No, that's hilarious.
His family's not even from Houma. They're from Texas.
Oh boy.
He's from Texas. He grew up with an older brother. His father died when he was very young, David Martin. His father died at the age of 37. His father was 37 in 1963. David wasn't even 9 years old yet.
Oh,
so that's a tough blow for that. His brother here, him and his brother grew up with his mother. Apparently David dropped out of, he went to public school and dropped out in the 10th grade. So drops out in the 10th grade. He did get his GED, and he actually went to college for a year too. So he had a troubled time. It's hard if your parent dies in that age.
I can't even imagine.
That's a brutal time for. It's just weird.
Essentially, my dad died before I was born.
Yeah, but then
But at least I never fucking had anything. Then,
yeah, and
you know what I mean?
Your dad's not dead, by the way. We should tell everybody he's still alive now.
And I met him when I was 28. It's fucked up. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not this fucked up.
That's hard when you have somebody and then they're taken away from you.
Gone.
Well, that's your whole the world is your parents are the main thing. They're the mountains, and then you have this, and then it's gone. That's got to shake your whole your belief in
especially
in the world.
At 9 when you're a boy, and in that era you were supposed to be like your dad.
And in Texas too, which
Jesus.
is very you wanted to be a man and all that, and very manly Texas time in the 50s and 60s especially. So he got a GED, though he went to college for a year. His brother describes him as always being a generous and unselfish person, never had any trouble with the law, just a nice guy who's had a rough time in life and has tried to make the best of it.
Sounds like it.
Now, David Martin moved to the Houma area in 1974 from Louisiana, or from Texas, and he was having a lot of problems. He was just a troubled kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about 20 years old, 19 years old. Just came up kind of tough, had a little spotty 1 year of college, and then took off from Texas and just didn't have a way. So what he did is he involved himself as a counselor in the Way Out Help Clinic, which was a clinic that sought through counseling to help runaway youths and young people with drug problems.
Okay.
So he decided to become a counselor there.
Wow.
And to try to help other kids with his upbringing, basically, that have had similar backgrounds. backgrounds or harder backgrounds.
If nothing else, he's very inspirational.
That's great, right? I mean, that's take your shitty background instead of going out and robbing liquor stores or doing something shitty with it, and to take it and go, fuck, man, maybe I can help people who had just as bad a time, and in turn, maybe that'll help me too.
There you go.
That's it's a healthy outlet is what he's doing here. So he's a Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh,
he
good
becomes
Lord.
here. Now that's a thing.
That's weird enough.
Yes. Now we're not going to get into the whole thing, because every religion, if we try to touch on it and give you they believe this and this, and then there's like, well, they also believe 85 other things, and there's this and that, and we're not going to get into it. It's another religion. You look it up if you want here.
It's strange.
It's a little strange. It has nothing to do with the case either. So
but what religion isn't?
That's what I mean. Take them all. If you're an alien, you come down and anyone explains any of them to you, which one is more ridiculous than any other ones besides Mormonism, honestly, because that's ridiculous no matter what planet you're from, because they actually say you'll get a fucking planet. So it's silly. Sorry, Mormons. I only say that, and I mess with the Mormons so much because they have the best sense of fucking humor about
Usually, yeah.
Because they listen to our show.
Right.
A Mormon who listens to our show is a cool fucking Mormon. Right. They're not like, oh, how dare you. They're pretty loose, and they're like, yeah, that is ridiculous.
How
fucking,
funny is it that you can rattle off all these religions, Seventh-day Adventist, Scientologist, Mormon, all these, and then be like, which one gets the planet? You would never guess You'd never guess Mormon ever.
No.
You'd be like, for sure it's Scientology.
Yeah, absolutely. They say that they're fucking, no.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, he does this. The Seventh-day Adventists, the one thing I will tell you about it is they're known for presenting, they're big into health and food and diet. About a third of them currently are vegetarians or vegans, very big into health, which is a big deal. They do kosher foods, abstinence from pork, shellfish, and other unclean animals. So basically they do like kosher.
What's a good looking white people in LA?
Yeah, except they'll eat shellfish and they're going to eat sushi.
If it's market price.
We'll see. It's got to be more expensive. The church discourages people from consuming alcohol, tobacco, or illegal drugs, which is what all churches do. In some Adventists also, even like old school Mormons, they avoid coffee and tea and soda because they don't like caffeine either, which is really over the top.
And robbing of a childhood.
Yeah, it's really not okay. So they ended up, they had a lot to do with the reason, they're the reason why everybody has breakfast cereal.
Who's that?
The Adventists.
Really?
They're the reason why I have 40 boxes of cereal upstairs, because I'm crazy for it.
Tell me more about that.
They introduced it, basically. Their modern commercial concept of cereal food originated with them. It was John Harvey Kellogg. Kellogg's was one of the early founders of the Adventist health work, and he developed breakfast cereals as a health food, which led to the founding of Kellogg's by his brother, because they came out with cornflakes, which was actually healthy, and some of them were healthy, and then they said, we got to do something with all this sugar. Take these cornflakes, coat them in sugar, and tell a cartoon tiger to tell kids to eat that shit. Perfect.
Tell them they're great. Just great?
Perfect.
No, tell them they're great.
Yeah,
and you know they'll eat them.
You need extra R's, a bunch of them. Yeah, we'll do that.
He's a fucking tiger, and he gurs.
The voice of Tony the Tiger was a wrestling announcer.
Get the fuck out of here.
Lee Marshall from the 90s WCW. Yeah, that voice like that. He was the voice of Tony the Tiger. He's dead now.
Poor bastard.
Tony's dead.
Yeah.
Tony died.
Now they got a bullshit guy doing it.
Yeah. So he's a fucking imposter. Yeah. Fucking imposter. Yeah. They promote also Wheat Bix, which are some...
What?
I don't know, health and vegetarian related product.
Is that a cereal?
I don't know. It's a box. I saw the box of it. I don't know if it's like a cereal or like a wheat thin.
Gross.
Like a snack. It
sounds terrible.
Wheat Bix. Yep. I don't want that.
No.
And wheat is WEET.
Oh, no.
It sounds even worse. So, David Martin, he got married, and it ends in divorce. This is before he moved to Houma.
I understand.
So he gets it. It happens.
I get it.
But this happened like when he was like 18. He was a quick married, divorced, and also had a child from this marriage. I think he was about 17 when this happened.
That is tough.
Yes, he has a child. It's an 8-year-old child here, and we feel, and I guess the child lives with the mother, and he doesn't seem to have any contact with him at all. It was just kind of this is your kid, and that's that. Things weren't going well in Texas, and at the suggestion of his sister and a bunch of his friends, he came to Houma in 1974. Where'd they pick that out of their ass from Texas? You should really go south of Louisiana and the bayou.
You say it was
great.
5 hours from Houston?
Do you speak French?
But how long does a tank of gas last?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, maybe that's
close
it.
to 5 hours?
Well, you could probably get to Houma. Not quite to New Orleans. I don't think so.
Nope.
You ain't going to get all the way to New Orleans. You're going to have to hitchhike the rest of the way. But watch out for people that'll show you X's on bullets because they could be kind of weird.
Yeah.
So he comes to Houma in 74 to work in a local drug rehabilitation clinic, which is what we talked about. That was there he meets a woman. Mm-hmm. He meets a young woman named Gloria Petrie. He meets her, who is an outpatient at the clinic. So he is counseling her drug habit. She's apparently a young drug addict who she's trying to counsel here. And at this time, too, he's also doing like street preaching. Oh, no. Like he's just kind of going out and like trying to, if he sees troubled people, he tries to fucking preach them and bring them into the flock and all this shit. And
but tell me, so he's dating this woman?
He meets her and they end up dating for a while and they end up getting married the next year.
No, you're not supposed to do that.
You're absolutely not supposed to do that. And I understand he's not a medical professional. I don't think he's taken any kind of oath or any kind of, there's no standard for just, outpatient church run, fucking, drug rehab thing. Like, I don't think there's a big.
But the thing about any drug rehab is that no matter you're a patient or you're a person of authority there.
That's the thing.
Keep your dick out of the others in the building.
Somebody is a patient in that scenario, which means that they're looking for help. And if you're helping somebody, you can't be trying to fuck them at the same time because that's
conflict in their head is
unhelpful.
Yeah,
and
detrimental,
and they might like you because you're helping them. And people sometimes conflate that with I like this person, and you're supposed to be the professional that goes no, because that happens all the time. People try to fuck their shrinks,
of course,
and their shrinks have ultimate mind control over them. They can fuck all these people if they want to.
Right.
That's why they have to not. That's a rule. You lose your fucking license for that shit.
Right.
That's the point of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I don't think there's any licensing involved in 1975 in Houma, Louisiana.
Probably not.
Yelling religious slogans at people's faces and shoving cornflakes into their face. I don't think that's not a real official capacity. So I don't know.
Sound like a resume.
It really doesn't, no. So they get married in early 1976. They get married, so he and Gloria, so they meet in 75, get married in 76. So it's a pretty quick romance and quick marriage. And then we find out very quickly that Gloria is pregnant.
Of course she is.
So yeah, she ends up getting pregnant pretty quickly right after the marriage. And in December 1976, she gives birth to a baby girl. Okay. Now, here's what happened. Now, he and his wife, Gloria, David and Gloria, wanted to have natural childbirth. Apparently, it was part of the religious thing, as they didn't want to have all the drugs in the hospital and all that. And this, by the way, for a while, that would be like, oh, these fucking weirdos. And now, this is a huge popular thing again.
Have you seen it?
It's fucking
horrifying.
They have hospitals for a reason.
Yeah.
And you know what? People had to give birth for fucking hundreds and thousands of years at home, and they were like, fuck if there was only a place I could go where everything was sterile and people knew medical shit and could help me and make sure that me and my baby don't die.
Right.
And then we did that, and then they're like, you know what? I'd really like to just shit my baby out into a tub at home. I'll get this hippie to come over and help me up. Put the incense on, and I'll put my kid in a. What are you fucking kidding me? Go to a hospital. Jesus.
The
Christ.
crazier part is, let's say that you have some complications and you're at home and you don't fucking know it.
You don't know it because you know why you don't know it?
Because you can't see it. Because you're not a fucking doctor.
You're not a doctor. That's why you don't know. And your midwife, that's not a doctor either. Also not a doctor or whatever.
And then as a dude, like selfishly, I don't want to watch that shit happen without drugs and stuff. And I'd love to be in a hospital where a doctor would be like,
I want to be on drugs.
You need to stay outside. I'd be like, thank you. I'd really love to do that, actually.
Perfect.
I don't want to see this. This is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, this. We've had some preachy shit today, but that's, have your kids in a fucking, and I get people like, well, the medical is, I get it. You know what? Your baby's way less likely to die. Right. Just put it that way. Look at the statistics of home baby deaths and hospital deaths. They're fucking way different. We'll put it that way. So,
and I'll bet there's more because some probably don't report that shit.
Yeah, they probably just put it in the dumpster. So it's different.
Well, you can bury that one with the rest of them.
Yeah, oh boy. Those are the symptoms. So, crime and sports reference.
Good
for
Lord.
So they have a baby girl. They want to have a natural childbirth. And I say all this. I guess I should have read the story. I should have told the story a little more first before I went on my rant, because this is why. He arranges he wants to deliver the baby, David Martin, because he's a medical professional, obviously, with the assistance of two, quote, ladies in the church who had assisted in the past in delivering babies. Okay. So I'm sure they've read all of the latest medical literature, and they're completely up to standards, just like a doctor would be.
Shut up,
I'm
James.
Sure
they've done it twice.
They've done it many times in the past, and they know that if you rub a stone on the thing, no, horseshit. Wow. So shockingly, complications arose during childbirth. Okay. And there was no medical help there. So this resulted in brain damage for the baby girl because they didn't know that there was medical problems here. So him and his wife were absolutely devastated over this, as anybody would be.
They got to feel like it's their fault.
Well, and
because, it fucking is.
Yeah. They don't feel like that, though, at first, but then it starts to get a little more guilty. Because at first they felt like they were doing that's what they wanted, that's what they're supposed to do, right. So he said that after a little bit while, he started personally just blaming himself for the whole thing. He said, I must have done it when I was trying to get her out. I had to have done it. It was me, because I'm not a doctor and all. So,
I'll put this in there. I could get it out.
I get it right out of there. I finish my business. I finish what I start. If I put it in you, I'm going to pull it the fuck out of you. Don't think I won't. So some evidence suggests here that there was some difficulty which caused the child to not be able to breathe for a long period of time and cause brain damage, which was not uncommon during childbirth. And if you're in a hospital, they can take care of that lickety-split, and your kid won't have brain damage. Right. Sometimes not, but most of the time, they're aware of it, and they know when the child's not breathing because they have monitors and shit, and they know. Whereas you don't, because you work at a fucking drug rehab and you dropped out of school in the 10th grade.
And she doesn't know because she doesn't know what the fuck's happening at this moment because her body's a mess.
Let's say you 10th grade dropout, took a GED, which I took. Trust me, you don't have to be any fucking genius to pass that. 1 year of college, if we don't know, or dude who did everything by the book his entire life, or lady or whatever, went to medical school for fucking years and then did a residency and then more shit and then has a fucking bunch of people watching him and has medical insurance, and you can fucking sue if they fuck up. Right. Maybe do that, stupid. Wow,
he's
that's
got
fucking
certificates and addresses where you can send the bills.
Holy, that's he'll send you things. He's got a person that works for him that sends or her. I don't fucking know anymore. I'm just so fucking angry. So he was so distraught by this, he left the church shortly after his daughter was born because people said he was embarrassed and he felt responsible, and two, he felt kind of like he did what he was supposed to do, and then this happened. So how is that? Nice. Thanks, God.
Right.
Like, fuck. Thanks for getting my back.
Buy into this shit still.
Thanks for getting my back, God. Right. Got it. So, he abandoned the religion, and then it gets even worse when his daughter dies. So she dies after only being alive a couple months. The child ends up passing away from her brain damage and from her medical problems. So this is absolute, obviously, catastrophe, and never a good thing. No one's ever excited about this, or it's horrible.
It's hard to get over.
It's hard. Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't. And as a couple, I don't know how couples get over that shit. I don't know how you just be like, okay, well, every time I look at you, I think of that. Right. So let's pretend none of this ever happened. Yeah. So. His friend said, quote, he said he'd given several years to the Lord and didn't have anything and didn't see why he let Jessica die. That's what he said. He said, God has let me down. I know I may burn in hell for what I'm doing, but when I stand before the Lord, I'm going to ask him some serious questions. Yeah. He was mad at God. Yeah. He literally said, fuck God. Yeah. God fucked me over. Yeah. I'm leaving the church. And you know what? If that gets me burning in hell, I don't even care.
We'll sort it out when I die.
I'll ask God why the fuck he's killing babies then. If he can fucking, he's going to come to me and say, why are you being a dick? I'll throw it right back in his fucking, literally what he said. I got some shit for God. So
he's gonna come at me asking me why I'm a dick. I'll ask him.
Exactly what he said.
How dare you fucking hypocrite. you son of a
you
bitch.
Omnipotent motherfucker. You want to step outside? Oh, you're always outside because you're omnipotent. Okay, never mind. So
I'm gonna make sure I always have
I'm outside now.
I'm always have 2 pairs of boxing gloves with me, so when I die, I will just throw him a pair.
Here you go, Chief.
Put him on, sir.
Call him Chief.
Let's talk.
Yeah. I'm going to ask him some serious questions. I don't know. He's going to grill the deity. So
I feel like he's not going to be responsive to that.
No. Yeah.
He's the one that gets to tell you what's
normally
what.
People in charge don't like to be questioned like that. And if you're really like extra in charge, you're really not going to.
I had a boss who said the word supposedly, and I had to take orders from this person.
No. You need to drop her like an anonymous note. That's what it needs to be. Just like a note, put it on her windshield.
Yeah, you want us to take you serious? You better stop saying this shit.
Yeah, I cannot stand that shit. That's one of those reasons. Chill runs up your spine.
Good Lord, are you 8?
Yeah. Oh, you're an idiot. Okay. What'd you have for dinner last night? Pescetti? All right, fuck out of here. You're not in charge anymore.
You watch that down with some milk, you fucking moron?
You're not in charge anymore, dickhead. Fucking move aside. Sorry, idiot.
Why don't you go lay your head on a pillow, you fucking dope?
Jesus. No, hold on. I'll get your binky quick. There you go. All right. Now you're better.
Oh, fuck, that was fun.
Jesus Christ. So,
I've wanted to say shit like that to that person for so many years. I'm so glad that we just did that.
To that person. It's a real person.
Yeah.
So a friend of his said, quote, he changed tremendously in just a few months. It seemed like everything had just fallen in on David. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if one day you're getting married and you got a young wife and you guys are happy and she's pregnant, you're going to have a child, and then all of a sudden the child has brain damage that you think you caused, and you think that fucking God has been smiting you, and you're angry, and then your baby dies, and then it's holy shit. Wow. I mean, yeah. Then you leave the church, which is all you thought you believed in.
I got zero blame for the man.
It's tough, man. It's really, really tough. And they all liked him at the church too. There's a guy named Donald Culpepper, who's the head elder at the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Houma, or was back then, and he said that David was great. He counseled young runaway youths, counseled people with drug problems. He said he impressed Martin always impressed him as a diligent, faithful worker. Yeah. He said that Martin even participated in the building of a new church. At one point, he had broken his leg, Martin, and they said he continued working on the church even though he had a full cast on his leg. He's limping around carrying shit, and how that is when you have a cast. He was working still.
Wow.
That's how hard of a worker he is. Mm-hmm. And he was, really good. They talked about that he did have trouble with drugs after the breakup of his first marriage when he was younger, before he came to Louisiana, which is kind of why he came there, to make a fresh start.
Yeah.
And then, he was improved when he was in the church and doing all that. But then after his daughter died, they said it was just downhill in a hurry, just gone. His brother-in-law said, quote, I believe he felt some guilt about her death. He said, quote, God let me down. Yeah. So that's all it was. Another person here, another one of his, a reverend from Texas, said this seemed to be what switched David's life off the road of right. It was the death of a kid, which that happens to so many people. You ever watch Hoarders?
Yeah.
Half the episodes of Hoarders, when they talk to, when they bring a psychologist in and they talk to it, their fucking kid died. Yep. And then next thing you know, there's 18 dead cats in the house and there's fucking boxes to the ceiling.
Tragedy. That's a tragedy.
Yeah. That's a trigger for so many people to go off the deep end into different shit here. So, he was even described as he knew a woman who was a cashier and a branch manager at the Houma Bank. And, she knew Martin for about 3 years and said he was such a nice guy. She said that they talked about that they were him and his wife were going to be house parents for a home for girls, and for like wayward kids and shit like that. And she said, quote, they were always trying to help everyone less fortunate than they were, and they didn't even have a lot. That's the thing. They weren't wealthy, or they were walking home in the rain with
barely
groceries.
Fortunate.
Yeah, they had a house. That was their fortune, and they weren't drug addicts. This woman said that she had loaned David money on several occasions, and he always promptly repaid her exactly when he said he was going to. And she considered him to be a generous, honest, peaceful person that was a great, person to know, basically. David had worked as a carpenter, a packing inspector, obviously the drug abuse counselor. He worked in the church. He was the house parent at a drug abuse clinic. He was even a door-to-door salesman at one point, hustling, just trying to make ends meet with a young family and trying to do things. A tacker in a shipyard. So this guy will do anything that pays the most. Yeah. That's basically it. He's one of these people that looks through the want ads every day and he goes, I make $8 an hour. That pays $10 an hour. I'll go do that. I don't care what the fuck it is. We need money.
He's basically what everybody should fucking be doing every day.
I think most people are anyway, or at least
I hope so.
Did when they were, younger or whatever.
Now you got to search fucking apps and shit like that.
Now it's a different story.
There are very few want ads.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why it's 77. He couldn't get his phone out and go, let's get on the ZipRecruiter app. And it didn't work out like that. Definitely have to check the paper.
Dig a little deeper.
You have to check the local paper, or even not the local one, the New Orleans one.
Right.
Because I'm sure it was just like witchcraft and voodoo and like gumbo recipes
recipes and voodoo doll building.
That's it. That's all it was. And is there anything else in this paper?
And gator heads.
Jesus. Oh, well, the ads for the taxidermist. That's the whole back half of the paper. Mount your gator head today. Jesus Christ. And a fan boat fucking repairman. Not a fan boat the F section is thick on this phone book. It's all fan boat repairman. Okay, I get it now. That's just the most popular job down there. So he'll do anything to try to hustle and make money for his young family and for his wife and all this sort of thing. So once he loses it a little bit, and he leaves the church and he leaves the drug abuse clinic and he leaves everything, he starts getting back into drugs again now, because it's just
he's got no reason not to.
That's how he feels. He's like, well, fuck God, fuck me over. So I guess whatever, who cares? So at this point, he's not doing well financially also. And at this point, it gets worse when his car gets stolen that had 2 of his paychecks inside. Yep. So they're gone. So now he loses 2 paychecks in his car.
Somebody get a APB out for that tab.
Yeah, it's definitely
He's
tab.
Trying to buy more land.
You know how he's like, I'm gonna take it from me. I'm gonna take it right back from you. The Lord taketh and tab
taketh again.
Taketh back.
Jesus Christ.
So 2 paychecks from 2 different jobs were in the car, and they were all stolen. So now he's completely fucked. Yeah. Basically here, he has nothing he's ever done wrong in his life. He had a $10 fine in 1969 for failure to have his driver's license on him, and in Texas. That's the only criminal record he has whatsoever here. So so that same night that we talked about with the hitchhiking is his wife's first night of work. Okay, his wife has gotten a job now, and this is after the baby and all that sort of thing. So his wife had gotten this job, and it's at the Black Gold Restaurant and Lounge, which is like a country western bar, basically. So she goes to work there. It's owned by a guy named Bobby Todd.
Hell yeah.
Bobby Todd got 2 first names.
Yeah, he does.
Bobby Todd, we'll talk about in a minute. He's living quite the lifestyle, Bobby Todd. He's
crushing it.
The pimp of Houma over here. He is just, he's like the Dennis Hoff of Houma. It's ridiculous.
All right.
So his wife goes to work on August 11th to work for Bobby Todd over at the Black Gold Restaurant and Lounge. Black Gold meaning oil, by the way. It's the oil restaurant. Right. That's what I want. That's what I want to think of about my food. Fucking that has oil on it. Perfect.
In it, around it, fucking any.
Oh, good.
Any proximity of my dinner, I would like 0 oil.
Yeah, you wipe that oil off the shrimp before you give it to me, please. So the second night of her employment, she goes back the next night to work. That night, she has sex with Bobby Todd.
Oh boy,
David's wife, Gloria. So it's her second night at work, and she fucks the boss.
Fucking the boss.
So that's not good.
No,
for anybody on a professional front or on a personal front.
Right.
It's never good. So the problem is, she then goes home and tells David about it.
Yeah.
So she tells him that this happened. He's obviously a little bit upset. Yeah. He's pissed off. He tells her that, well, you're quitting. And she says, nope, Not quitting.
Yeah.
I got a shift tomorrow, and I'm going to it. I got a shift and a shaft at 3. So I'm going to get to both of those. The shaft's at 2 and the shift's at 3, I think is how it works. So,
Christ.
yeah. So she goes, she says, no, she's not doing that. At all. She's not going to do that. So this is Friday night, August 12th. She says, nope, not going to quit, whatever. So he's pissed off. David is pissed off. He leaves the house and he ends up going to Wireline Wayne's house, who he had met the day before.
Sure.
Goes over to Wireline Wayne's house and breaks into his house.
Yeah.
And he's only there for one thing, and that is the Colt Python 357 under the mattress is what he goes for. So he goes right in there, and he takes that from under the mattress. Now, the next day, August 13th, is a Saturday. He visits a friend of his, David does, a guy named Raymond Rushing, who's his next-door neighbor, and he shows Raymond Rushing the gun. You know, see this gun? This guy's not very smart, by the way. I just stole this. Oh, cool. So he also says, I'm going to take this gun and I'm going to shoot that Bobby Todd. He goes, I'm going to fucking kill that guy. So Rushing also says that, David went into this big rant about he was jealous. His wife's working over here and fucking this guy and now she won't quit. And, his goddamn kid's dead and somebody stole his paychecks in his car and he's had it. He's fucking had it, basically, with the whole world. So on Sunday morning, August 14th, David goes to see a man named Chester Golden, who is a friend of his, another friend. He was trying to talk some shit out. He tells Chester that his wife was working at the Black Gold restaurant at the country bar there, and she wouldn't quit. He's pissed. He's like, this is what happened. I told her to quit. It seems reasonable. I don't know why she told me if she wasn't going to quit afterwards. Right. Like, what?
Just wanted to be honest.
Just wanted to tell you I'm going to keep fucking this guy for a while. Like, what's the point there? So, he said he didn't know what to do. And all he said to Chester is I guess we're going to split up. He goes, I guess we'll split up. And he goes, if we split up, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to Texas. I guess I'll go back to Texas where my family is. Yeah. Why stay here with her and the memories of a baby and all this shit? I'll just go back to Texas and be with my family. Like,
everything I look at is just going to remind me of this shit.
And everything's gone here. Even my car is gone. Right. Everything's gone. Time to pack it up and fresh start time at that.
All I've got is this stolen 357.
That's not a lot to have. So, yeah. So he goes to see him. He said he's going to end up in Texas. He also just tells Chester, he says, I have a bone to pick with Bobby Todd. And if he ran into Bobby Todd, there would be trouble. So he's not like, I'm going to go hunt down Bobby Todd. He just says, if I run into that son of a bitch,
cross paths.
He's in trouble. Yeah. But he doesn't say, I'm going to take this gun and shoot Bobby Todd. Now he's calmed down the next day. He's like, I got a bone to pick with him. There's going to be trouble if I see him. Okay. Taking it down a notch, which happens when you
lower
sleep.
The crazy.
You sleep on something.
Weird, right?
That's why you sleep on it.
Calm down.
Because the next day you go, maybe
boy, was I talking. Did I say I was going to fucking kill a guy?
A little rash, I think. I stole this gun.
I have a gun. It's not mine.
And it is not mine.
Am I out of my fucking mind or what?
Oh, well. All right. Just keeps going. I guess not. So, there's going to be trouble. He also tells Chester Golden that he had been up the last 2 nights, not sleeping, waiting outside the Black Gold so he could get Bobby Todd. So he's been stalking Bobby Todd. Now I guess he's calmed down a little bit. He said he'd been unable to find him that way. However, he said he saw him, but he could never get close to him. Yeah. He said, I have a bone to pick. I want to talk with him. He said, but I could never get him alone. He said, because there's always people around him there. Because he's the owner of the place. So there's always a bunch of people. And if he walks up to a guy in his own bar and starts a fight with him, 8 bouncers are going to throw him out on his face. It's a fucking country bar. Yeah, it's going to be a couple of big fat rednecks are going to toss you outside.
And a cowboy boot hurts getting kicked by it.
I think this is more. This is less cowboy boot and more
marsh boot.
Work boot / no shoe.
Got it.
Work boot / no boot.
Yeah.
It's just painted feet to look like a shoe, I think, is a lot of what we're getting here.
Timberland drawn on their heels.
It's
and the Carhartt vest.
Come on now, draw that better. Jesus, supposed to be the artist here.
Just write cat on the back of my ankle.
You know how to spell that. Don't be asking me, you stupid bastard. Look it up. So, he said there's always people around him and he wanted to get him alone. Because, if that's not a conversation, you want to shout in front of everybody. He said that it might be impossible to ever get him alone because a guy named Terry Hebert Hebert is probably how you spell it, like Bobby Hebert.
Yep.
And because he's from down there too. So Terry Hebert is always around always around Bobby Todd. So he's like, Terry Hebert, by the way, is known as his bodyguard.
Oh, so he's big.
He's a big guy and probably is, head bouncer or something or whatever.
Probably a tough sumbitch.
Yeah, I would assume. That's the guy said is always with him night and day, and it's his bodyguard here. So he's
he killed a gator with his bare hands.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So they're like, he's the guy who would throw you out on your face.
Right.
So at this point, David shows Chester Golden his 357, and he says that he stole it from a convicted felon. So I stole this from he doesn't know if that guy's a convicted felon, but he said, I stole it from a convicted felon, and he said, I don't think he's going to report the gun stolen because he's a felon. He shouldn't have the gun.
Supposed to have in the first place.
So I think I'm good here. I think you can steal from a felon. That's like stealing drugs from he's like Omar on The Wire. That's what he is here. He's like, who are you going to call? Oh, I'm out. I'm about to huff and puff. Right,
so I did some research on Deadwood, and you did not tell me that Timothy Oliphant's in it. Now I can't wait to watch it.
It's the fucking main character.
You didn't tell me.
I gave you a set of DVDs with his picture on it. And his fucking name on the top of it.
I love that guy.
He's fucking great. The first scene is him doing the first scene of Deadwood, the series, is the best first scene of any fucking show I've ever seen. If you can watch that and not go, I have to see this show, you are I don't ever want to talk to you because it's amazing. It's fucking amazing in every way, shape, and form.
I did the step one, and I went Deadwood IMDb. Timothy Oliphant. James is holding out on me.
First episode. Give it 6 minutes, Jimmy. Give me 6. I do this. All this stuff. I'm asking you 6 minutes. If you're not hooked in 6 minutes, throw it in the garbage. You don't even have to give it back to me.
You don't even want them back?
Throw it in the garbage.
Well, you probably shouldn't want them back. They probably got 2 years of dust on them.
Probably, yeah. Definitely. Oh, man, that's awesome.
Jesus Christ.
So, Jesus, it's at this point where David asked Chester, hey, do you know if there's a store open where I could get some ammo for this gun I got here? Because I really got to go target shooting.
Yeah.
I'm in the mood to target shoot, which maybe that'll blow some steam off.
Yeah.
Maybe
You're
that's
like hit shit. It's a 357. That's a motherfucker.
Doesn't matter. Just fire it off. It's loud enough.
It'll feel good.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I don't know if it's just to make you feel good, if it's like going to the gym and hitting the heavy bag or something like that. But he said he wants to go target shooting. So I guess there was no stores open anywhere. So they looked like in the phone book. They were trying to find stores that might have bullets to sell him. So finally, Chester Golden says, tell you what, you can buy, I got my friend over here. He's got extra bullets. You can just buy them from him. So a guy named Tommy Leday, he gets a box of ammo from him. Apparently, this dude keeps a bunch in his shed or something. I don't know.
You would hate my closet so much.
Was he ammo?
I have so much
ammo. I don't care if you have ammo, but I guess this guy's, you could have sold it to this guy.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah.
So, he at this point, Chester Golden said that David looked at this point, quote, pretty drugged out since right now, and it looked like he had lost a little bit of weight. He just looked kind of
So happens when you sit up at night.
Yeah, he's been up for 2 nights not eating and doing drugs. Yeah. So that'll do that here. And so he said, you don't look great. You look like you lost weight. And Martin said that I've been up for 2 nights and I haven't eaten in 2 days. And I've been on drugs. He didn't say that, but he's like, you can infer.
And
Yeah. So this is a weird thing here. Now, 5:00 p.m. that day, afternoon here, 5 p.m., David Martin brings his wife, Gloria, to Bobby Todd's trailer. Okay, why he's bringing her there, I don't know. I guess
fuck him in front of me.
Fuck, I want to see it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna jerk off angrily while you do it. So his trailer, by the way, is right behind the
of course
country bar. So
yeah,
he's Jesus Christ.
Of course.
Why the fuck wouldn't it be?
Yeah. So a woman answers the door and tells Gloria that Todd is asleep. Bobby Todd's asleep. You can't come in. Okay. So David and his wife left and had dinner. Yeah. They went and had some dinner. They split a pitcher of beer.
Yeah.
They smoked some weed.
Okay.
They had some weed. I know they smoked. They don't know how much weed.
All right.
So
what's a joint between a couple?
Hey, around 7 p.m., David drops his wife off at home and tells her that he was going to return the car they've been driving to its owner because his car got stolen. Right. So he said, I'm going to go return this to my friend and I'll be back a little while. So instead of doing that, he goes to the Black Car Gold.
Okay.
Because he's got a bone to pick.
Right.
So he goes to the Black Gold and parks his car down the street.
Oh.
Never a good sign when a guy, you have a plan if you park down the street.
Generally.
You pull right up in front. You don't care who sees you. You're not planning on anything going down.
This is a business establishment. I got a feeling they got a fucking parking lot.
Oh yeah. It's a
places for it to be.
Big old fucking parking lot that he does not use. He goes instead down the street, and he walked up the street like a hitchhiker, like with his thumb out, like he was hitchhiking.
Okay.
That was his plan. He looked like just some random hitchhiker walking down the street.
That's dumb.
Dumb plan.
Yeah.
So he ends up, no one looks twice at a hitchhiker. That's why. It's one of those things. It's like when they shot Paul Castellano, they all had Shriner's outfits on because they go, I don't know, Shriner shot him. What do you look like? You look like a fucking Shriner. I don't know.
Look at those. But I mean, I don't know.
They did. It worked, too.
Yeah,
Everyone said Shriners. I have no idea what they look like.
Here's the thing about hitchhikers, though. You don't need to take a second look because you get a real good first look, and then you get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, it's true. I think if you walk with your head down and your thumb out. So I guess he didn't want the car parked there. So he ends up walking up to Bobby Todd's trailer, and he knocks on the door and asks if he could speak to Bobby. By the way, the door is answered by a naked 19-year-old woman.
Oh boy.
Yes. This is interesting.
Todd is getting it.
Okay, inside the house are Bobby Todd, Terry Hebert, who's 27, Bobby Todd's 33, Hebert's his bodyguard, and two women, Ann Tierney, who's 19, and Sandra Brake, who's also 19, and the girls are completely nude.
My God.
So this is the Boogie Nights house, basically. This is like the Boogie Nights trailer. Boogie Nights Houma style, this is right here.
Let's make fuck.
Yeah. However you say that in Cajun, I don't know. Say that in a fucking French accent. I don't know. So really, really weird at this point here, this whole thing. Before this, a woman had talked to Bobby. He had just woken up, I guess. That's why he was asleep earlier. I guess he had just woken up and told a woman he talked to he had been asleep for 13 hours. He just woken up from a 13-hour sleep, which that's great. Like 3 nights of sleep for me. That makes me... I haven't had 13 hours of sleep this whole week. I'm literally...
That is genuinely...
It's amazing.
3 nights combined for me.
That sounds so good.
And I can't imagine... I don't know how he didn't wake up.
I would sleep. Wow. I would feel so good. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself.
I don't know. After 6 or 7, I might wake up and be like, oh my God, what day is it?
No, I feel great.
Really?
When we were in Philly last doing a live show, I slept for 12 hours in the hotel room. Jesus. I was just exhausted. I've been up for days, like working and prepping shit. And I slept for 12 hours and I woke up and I've never felt better. I remembered like all my elementary school teachers' names and shit like that. Like I was
so lucid,
so fucking sharp. And I'm like, dude, if I could fucking sleep all the time, my brain would be amazing. I might not be an idiot if I could sleep. Maybe I'm not dumb. I'm just tired. That's a distinct possibility.
Well, I mean, there is science proving that you're
just tired.
You're not with it when you don't sleep. So
yeah, we're not with it.
Oh boy. That is an understatement.
So Todd ends up walking into the room because he heard a knock, and he comes into the room and he walks towards David Martin. As he walks, cause some guy in his living room, as he walks toward, don't mind the naked teenager, basically.
Can we help you, sir? We're in here making fuck.
Yeah, we're making fuck. And it's August. This girl was probably in science class 2 months ago, and now she's naked in a scumbag country bar, Western bar owner's trailer.
Good Lord.
With this dirtbag walk. Oh, wow.
Both of these girls.
Both of them. Yeah, that's what I mean. So this guy's got quite the lifestyle. He's banging married women. He's got nude 19-year-olds. He's running a bar. He's got a bodyguard. And he lives in a trailer.
I know. He's
the king of Houma.
Wrong with me?
He's fucking Scarface of Houma over here. For Houma, this guy is like, he's living high in the hog,
really
man.
Is.
He's got his whole life figured out. He gets to sleep for 13 hours. I'm jealous of this guy.
He sleeps all day, then he fucks all night, and then he goes to his bar and collects money.
I have no interest in 19-year-old girls at all because I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. Sorry, we have a lot of 19-year-old girl listeners, and
you say Diplo one more time, we're gonna fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the energy to try to figure it out either. So have a good one. But so he as Bobby Todd walks towards David pulls the 357 out from under his shirt.
Oh my God! So
it's at this point that Bobby Todd thinks he's being robbed. He pulls 2 big rolls of money out of his pocket because it's 70s, it's cash business. He's got all the bar rolls.
There it is.
He pulls that out and he starts trying to give him money. Like, hey, here you go. You got that, dude. Whatever. He just thinks he's being robbed.
You win.
It happens if you own a bar.
Right.
You know? So David says, oh, no. I don't want your money at all. I'm not here to fucking take your money. I just want you to know. He said, I want you to know my name is what he said. That was his exact words. Is I don't want your money. I just want you to know my name. And then he shot him twice in the chest with a .357.
You forgot to say your name, bro.
At about 3 feet. No, he told him who he was.
Did he?
And then he shot him twice in the chest, about 3 feet away with a .357 hollow points in it. So as you can imagine,
with crosses on him, James.
Bit fucking messy in there at that point. Now imagine this: it's nighttime in a trailer. Tin trailer, and two .357 shots go off, sending viscera all over the fucking
Probably
place.
Blew that trailer apart.
Imagine if you're one of the other three people in the trailer. Chaos.
Yeah.
It's got to be chaos and fucking panic. So it's at that point that he turns and he starts picking the other people off.
No.
First, Terry Hebert, because I believe he's probably the biggest threat.
And he probably came at him.
And I'm sure he came at him to try not to get shot.
Right.
So he shoots Terry Hebert, and then Ann Tierney. And then how do you shoot naked teenage girls?
Jesus,
you can't shoot naked 19-year-old girls. I'm sorry.
But he did
That's
just
crazy.
tell them their fucking name. You know, he said his name.
I guess at that point he had
dummy.
to.
God damn it, David.
We'll talk about exactly what happened here. But yeah, he shot Terry Hebert next, and then the two women. The autopsies will show that Terry Hebert had been shot 5 times in the back and side.
That man reloaded.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Holy shit.
More than once.
No.
More than once. He shot him 5 times in the back and side. 2 of the shots went into his heart. So he got there. Sandra Brake was shot twice in the heart and had defensive wounds in her wrist and arm. That's the thing, too, with these rural guys are good shots, too. And Ann Tierney was shot 6 times.
Wow.
With a .357,
That's
man.
the whole thing. That's the whole...
that's the cylinder.
It's called. Is it a cylinder?
Cylinder.
Probably.
I was just reading Hunter Thompson complaining about a scope that he bought to Smith & Wesson Company in the 50s, and he was calling it a cylinder. So once in the chest, she was shot. 4 times in the abdomen. Once in the face.
Why?
And we'll find out why here in a minute. I'll show you this here. Talk about this. So,
don't show me.
I'm going to show you.
Please don't show me.
We'll talk about it.
Dear
How's that?
God.
So around 8 p.m. that night, David returns to Chester Golden's home, and he was excited. He is excited, and he asked Chester to take a ride with him. He said, come take a ride with me, man. Come on. He was like, sure. David seems like he's in a better mood. Cool. Yeah. During the ride, he told Golden he just killed 4 people behind the restaurant.
Oh, my God.
Super excited. Come on, dude, let's take a ride. All right. Man, these things are looking up for David. All right, cool.
You're not going to believe this.
Dude, I just shot all these fucking people.
Coolest thing ever.
Naked teenage girls, fucking people that had nothing to do with it. 3 people that didn't fuck my wife.
Yeah. That is a great goddamn point.
That's the main point.
That's the point.
None of those people fucked your wife, especially the 19-year-old girls.
And clearly, Mr. Todd doesn't give a shit either because he's banging 2 other chicks.
That's what I mean. Right now, another chick he's got all sorts of women crawling all over him. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, he didn't care about this guy's wife, but she cared about whatever. So that ends up happening during the ride. Yeah, I killed 4 people. He said, Martin tells him though, I didn't touch anything, and they might suspect me, but they don't have any proof. So I didn't touch anything. I'm clean on this. They're never going to fucking find me. He told Golden, because his friend said, why'd you kill the girls? Same question you had. Why kill the guy?
Very logical question.
Get killing Terry Hebert.
Right.
I get that. You shoot this guy, another big guy's coming at you. He's this guy's bodyguard. You're going to shoot him. I understand that. But you don't. Naked teenage girls are no physical threat to you.
It's so far out of the realm of the
threat.
Yeah.
There's
no reason.
They definitely don't even have weapons on them. They are nude.
They're not fighting.
No, at all. So they asked, why'd you kill the women? And he said, quote, once I started shooting, there was no stopping.
Yeah.
So he just went into a fucking frenzy of reloading and all that.
There was stopping when the fucking thing was empty.
Yeah, he had.
You idiot.
Oh my God. He said, well, how are you going to get away with it? And this is Chester Golden's quote. Quote, he said, I didn't touch anything. He said, no one saw me. He said, I'll just stick to my story and keep my mouth shut and I'll get off. And so Chester said, quote, David, everybody knows you had a grudge against Bobby Todd. And David said, quote, I figure they'll pick me up, but I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and they don't have any proof. So,
except for the part where you just admitted it to your friend.
You
fucking dummy.
Yeah, and probably we'll talk about it all. Oh, not only his friend, he also confessed to 4 more people that night. how he was going to get away with this murder.
Don't worry, y'all. I ain't saying shit. Except to all of y'all.
Except to everybody. Except to literally everyone in town. Except to the Rogeroo or whatever, the half. I told everybody but the half-man wolf-head boy. I didn't tell him.
The Rogeroo don't get shit.
The Rogeroo is known to have a big fucking mouth. He tells no one can understand him, but he tells everybody.
God, Jesus.
So he told one of them, Pamela Wilson, that he threw the gun and the money into the bayou. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in the bayou, there's 2 big rolls of cash down there, which could have bought half of Houma, I'm sure. So he didn't want to have the money on him as evidence, because I'm sure it was bloody also. Yeah. So he is arrested a short time after that. Not surprisingly, the sheriff who made the arrest told reporters for a newspaper that Martin appeared, quote, strung out on dope at the time.
The 70s.
The expert opinion of a rural 70s policeman. He was strung out on dope. I don't know. So that was just anybody. Yeah. I saw him with a book, so I figured he's strung out on dope because he was reading something. I don't know. So, yeah. Jesus Christ. By the way, he told Chester Golden, we'll talk about this, he told Chester Golden that he shot the last girl in the stomach and she wouldn't die. He kept shooting her in the stomach. He said she told him that she was hurting bad, she was in pain, and begged him to kill her. So he said to finish her, he shot her in the face. So, he's a humanitarian.
Yeah, but
he'd already shot her in the stomach.
Face probably didn't do it. It probably just knocked her unconscious. You know what I mean? Because
close range 357 to the head.
Unless you get it into the fucking brain.
Yeah, close range 357.
He keeps shooting her in the belly.
Through.
There's no fucking vital. I mean, there's vital organs, but they're not like
you
kill
bleed,
you now.
It's
right.
bleed out shit.
Jesus.
See Tim Roth, Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. But I think in the face in that particular instance did it. Close range with the 357. That'll do it. So there was a total of 15 shots fired that they recovered and figured out, and he was carrying a 6-round revolver, which means he had to stop twice to reload. Yeah. Fucking twice.
That's too much.
Twice.
And he left 3.
And
left 3 in there.
Yeah. Well, the last shot was a girl in the face, and he was like, "Well, everybody's dead."
That's enough.
3. That's 1 for you, fucker.
Oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry at that point.
Left
fucking, what are you doing, man?
Jesus.
He after the shooting, he took the rolls of money to make it look like a robbery, is what he told people. So that's what it looked like. Oh, they came in and robbed him, and then he threw everything in the bayou, which is a nice place to be able to get rid of shit. Yeah. So he's arrested. Like we said, he's strung out on dope, is what they say. Now, August 15th, his wife, Gloria, she agrees to come down to the police station to give a statement here. And now, after she signed her statement, she orally consents for the officers to search her home. She says, yeah, okay, you can search my home, but there's no paperwork or anything. They accompany Gloria to the home in order to search it. They're looking for clothes that he might have been wearing over the course of the evening. Sure. So one officer found a pair of pants, and Gloria herself found a shirt and turned it over to the police. Now, the officer said that there was no fear, intimidation, menacing, threats, inducements, or promises used to get her consent for the search.
Well, that's going to come up.
That's the claim, yeah. However, she said that when she gave her statement, several officers told her that if she did not quit lying, they would arrest her too, which I'm sure they did. They said, listen, trash lady, they treat these fucking, I'm sure they treat her like shit, which at this point, she had nothing to fucking do with anything.
Yeah, but they're right, too. They can say that.
Yeah.
Say, if you don't tell me the truth, I'm going to fucking arrest you.
You can say whatever you want. Yeah. So she said that they didn't threaten to file charges. They said that she said that they didn't threaten to file charges against her if she didn't give consent, and that she did give permission, but they kind of, there was no formal, like if you do this, we'll do this, but it was kind of like, we're going to arrest you if you don't fucking stop lying. It was one of those things. She said she operated under fear when she gave her statement and consent, though. She said the state brought in 10 deputies, including the officers who had taken her statement, and those who conducted the search. She was unable to identify which officers frightened her, all of this, but they end up finding that. He tells his wife, by the way, at this point, because he gets into the police station, he ends up telling him that he did it at first.
Really?
His wife visits him, and he tells his wife, quote, I did it for you, baby. It's very romantic.
You certainly didn't do it for her.
Very romantic, I gotta say. Did it all for you, baby.
Now you don't have to fuck him, or those girls, or that guy.
Isn't it great? Aren't I a great guy? Good guy right here. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
So
I liberated your pussy from
all these people.
The burden of fucking all those
Isn't that
people.
Great? And me.
I'm a goddamn gentleman.
And me too, because I'm in prison.
Because you'll never have to see me.
Enjoy your lonely pussy. Have a good one. That's what he said. Jesus Christ. Too bad I can't call this episode Lonely Pussy, because I think that would be... I don't think iTunes would let me do that, though. It'd probably take it down. What do you think, Jimmy?
Holy shit.
Lonely Pussy
I
in
feel
Houma,
like
Louisiana.
that algorithm would eat this episode.
It would fucking break it, definitely. Jesus. So...
Lonely pussy ruined my brain.
Lonely pussy. So Martin's his brother here. His brother, by the way, who's a junior. His brother gets him a Texas attorney with 10 years criminal trial experience and some experience with capital cases. Because, by the way, they're going for the death penalty on this one. The Texas attorney.
What year is this?
77.
Okay.
This is right after it came back. Yeah. So the Texas attorney who was associated with this thing, he gets a Louisiana lawyer to be a local advocate, I guess, with limited criminal experience and no experience in capital offenses. And lead counsel was also assisted by an investigator who made several trips to the area of the crime. Now, when he first met the lead counsel said that he said, take me in there and either get me off or tell him to fucking take me to Angola and fry me. Okay. That's what he said. I'm not pleading, I'm not doing any of this shit. Yeah. Walk me or fry me was his words. Okay. So, full acquittal or death penalty. And he
in a state where Harry Connick Sr.'s dad, who's a motherfucker, is a G. Was he the GA or AG?
AG,
what's the word?
I think so. He's the GA.
Is he the general admission?
I think he's a general admission. Yeah, he's right down in front, but about 10 rows back. That's where he is.
Anyhow, but that man, he was a monster. And
you're going to go talked about him before.
You're going to go into this state and talk about walk me or fry me.
It's weird.
Careful with those words.
Yeah, I guess because the death penalty wasn't around for like the last 10 years. Maybe people were getting cocky, like fry me, but they didn't actually think that it was a thing that happened. And I don't know what happened, but he also told his lead counsel that he had taken drugs on the night of the murders, and the lead counsel arranged for him to be examined by a psychiatrist. He told the psychiatrist he had taken PCP on the night in question, and the doctor therefore discussed a drug-related defense with the lead counsel. Okay. That's how this went. According to the doctor here, the effect of a PCP type of drug, I don't know if anybody's ever done dust, but he says, quote, the thinking capacity of the human being would raise substantive and serious questions about Martin's ability to formulate logical thoughts on or about the night of the murders. He also concluded that the murders were inconsistent with Martin's past history, except in the presence of such toxins as LSD or PCP. He also said that the drug-related offenses would be medically valid and credible in his case. He thought an intelligent decision that it was a good decision to do that defense. The doctor did, and but none of this was ever pursued by Martin's counsel, and the doctor was never again spoken to by the lawyer. Okay. So this lawyer says, he was on PCP, and I think that would have affected his ability, and I'll testify to the fact that he didn't know what he was doing. Okay. And so they never talked to that guy again.
Got it.
So which is weird. I don't know. So his lead attorney also did not do any research to determine whether voluntary intoxication was even a defense to first-degree murder in Louisiana, because he practices in Texas. Local counsel, who doesn't even handle criminal cases up 5 years later, testified that he, quote, got into the question real heavy, but he said that there was substantial confusion about the legal questions involved, and he said that voluntary intoxication was not the defense. So basically, this guy said, here's my defense. And they said, well, we don't really know if that's legally okay to do there, so we're just going to not let you do that. This is why you have lawyers, so they know the law, because you
people
don't.
Who went to college for this
shit.
You
know, people who practice law. I've only had a lawyer, A, that practiced law in this state that would know the state law, and B, the guy he does have has done this before. You need somebody who's done this before. Right. This is why this is not good here. This is not a good enough death penalty defense. I'm sorry. No. And like the state should make sure that they get a better defense, because then they can say you can stand back and go
confidence, and you can
we feel good about what we did, rather than he's got that shit lawyer. Oh, it's going to be easy. We'll fry him quick. Like, no, that's not how this shit
You should
work.
never want that if you're a prosecutor.
No.
You should always want them to have the best possible defense and then fucking beat them.
Exactly. You want to say, I beat OJ's team, and it's worth it because now you know he's fucking guilty because he had the best defense.
Eagles getting to beat the Patriots. You know that you're the best one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You win.
Exactly.
That's what you want. You want to beat the best.
You want to win.
You should never want to walk over anybody in the championship or anything.
No.
It should never be a fucking blowout.
Yeah, no. Well, their money's involved, but this is a moral thing with the law and shit. I get you. I get your analogy.
I'm making a competitive comparison.
It works. So yeah, it's not pursued at all, this intoxication defense. It was never discussed with Martin, that the decision to not do it. He never even discussed the counsel never even discussed the possibility of that defense with him. He explains it like this, the lead counsel. One, I was convinced that the defense of diminished capacity because of drugs was not a defense that was there. No one indicated to me any factors that would indicate at the time of the offense Mr. Martin was intoxicated as a result of drug use. One thing that concerned me in that regard was the incident involving Mr. and Mrs. Martin's child and the birth of their child. There had been a child born to Miss blah, 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 blah. He goes into the child. He says that it appeared those complications may well have been related to drug use on the part of either Mr. or Mrs. Martin, which is not crazy. What anybody has brought up. No one thought they were doing any drugs at that point.
The man was religious at that point and was committed.
Yeah, they were super into the whole thing. And he says, quote, I was concerned that any suggestion that Martin might have either inadvertently or through negligence or engaging himself in unlawful activities such as the use of drugs had been responsible for the serious complications to his child, may have seriously prejudiced Mr. Martin in the eyes of the jury. Mm-hmm. So he didn't want to say that because he thought the jury would think that he was fucked up on drugs when he hurt his baby, and that would make him look bad. Mm-hmm. That's what they thought, that they would infer that, rather than them going, the death of his baby caused him to do drugs. He thought they would take it backwards instead of forwards.
That's crazy.
Your job as the attorney is to lead them forward, not let them take it backwards.
Also, maybe that's why an attorney should maybe try some drugs at some point.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, try drugs.
Experiment a little bit.
You have to go to college. Use drugs while you're there. Please.
At least try it, because then your words sound a little more credible when you say shit like this. I know that you've never tried a fucking thing in your life.
Nothing. No. Yeah, he just thinks you take drugs and then your missionary
sex is boring as fuck, and you drink your coffee black.
If you take drugs, you'll turn into a cartoon, slaughter everyone around you, and then think you can fly and jump off the roof. That's how drugs work.
You've had 2 blowjobs a year for your birthday and on Christmas. Enjoy.
Not Christmas. She's awfully tired on Christmas. Early day, woke up with the kids, just his birthday.
It's usually when she falls asleep. You get your blowjob.
Well, he's getting something.
He gets his blowjob.
He's getting it. So he says he chose to instead pursue the defense that he had not committed the murders at all, which is a crazy defense here. Yeah. He explained that in his opinion, the physical evidence showed, this lawyer thought that the physical evidence showed the victims could not have been shot in that small trailer, and that he thought that the bodies were taken into the trailer from somewhere else, even though the inside of the trailer is like a fucking painted Jackson Pollock painting. It's just shit everywhere. They're clearly killed in there. Wow. He said that he believed the defense to be tenable because the state's case would be, quote, straight out circumstantial, which is true. They don't have any physical evidence, no prints, they don't have the gun, nothing except for him telling everybody that he did it. That's a tough one, though.
Before anybody knew about it.
In detail.
Right.
Yeah, so the trial comes around April 3rd, 1978. They bring in the wife thing. That's a big deal here. The wife, the statements of the wife with the shirt and all that kind of shit. So they have a big kind of pretrial thing about this, about whether to admit some of the shirt and shit like that. After considering the testimony of the witnesses at the motion to suppress hearing, he says the trial judge concluded the defendant's wife freely and voluntarily gave her consent and admitted the items of clothing into evidence. So that was a big deal, because there was blood on them, like victim's blood. That's the only physical evidence they have. Also, there's a jury thing here, and we've had this a few times, where there's a juror that is unsure about the death penalty, and it's always a spotty thing. So the district attorney asked if she would automatically vote against the imposition of capital punishment without regard to the evidence, and she said, would I definitely be opposed to it? He said yes. She said, yes, I would not be opposed. Yes, but I would not be opposed to just punishment, but I just don't think I could say kill. which you could say that's so stupid. So
is it kill? I mean,
you're killing either way. You could say death penalty, but you can't say kill. Be an adult.
Don't say kill, sugar.
Be an adult about what you're doing.
Be an adult.
Also, if you are going to sentence someone to death, say fucking kill, because it should make you feel like that, because you are killing a human being. So you should probably fucking realize that you're doing that, and maybe you don't want to do that.
That's somebody that just can't say the truth.
That's somebody
she can't handle it.
She wants him to disappear, but she feels bad fucking doing it.
Put him away forever. Well, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah. What? Yeah. So she said, they asked her again, are you telling us that absolutely under no circumstances would you ever vote for the death penalty? She said, I don't think so, really. I would vote, as I said, complete punishment, and maybe I would like to whip them physically. But I don't know if I would want to put...
Jesus.
I don't know if I'd want to put anybody's life out.
You cold-hearted bitch.
I would like to whip him physically. Maybe I would like to...
Maybe I could beat the living shit out of him? Could I do that?
Quote, and maybe I would like to whip them physically. Okay.
She is way worse.
So then the judge jumped in and goes, whoa, hold on.
Hold on, lady.
Let's take it back a notch.
You think that's cruel and unusual? You want to whip a man and throw him in a cell?
Jesus.
Fuck.
The judge said, I want to ask you a question.
What's your number?
Would you? Yeah, we're going to talk, sweetheart. He said, would you automatically vote against the imposition of the death penalty without regard to the evidence? And so he just wants a straight answer. Yeah. And she said, honestly, I would. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right decision. This is how I feel. She just keeps they're like, that's not what we asked you. Yes or fucking no, lady. Jesus Christ.
Can you vote for the death penalty? Can I spank him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just tie him up, give him a ball of gag, shit like that?
Later on, this is going to come into a lot of play when it comes up of he should have been able to keep this juror or whatever. Also, there's another woman here that a woman that made several calls to Bobby Todd's trailer on the night of the murders. That these phone calls, the one that she said that he was sleeping for 13 hours, these phone calls helped the state set up a timeline of the offense, because I guess she called at 7:30, 8:05, 8:10, and this sort of shit.
Bobby Todd has got a sweet dick.
Yeah, Bobby Todd must be...
He's got somebody checking on him constantly. Are you ready to fuck? Yeah,
He plays a flute and it comes out of his pants and causes women to drop. I don't know he's got to have a magic dick, this guy, because they're coming...
This shit is insane.
Out of the woodwork,
Good for
teenagers, people calling, dudes' wives.
Good for you, Bobby Todd.
Fuck, man. This woman stated, and this is the police report, quote, she stated that she had worked at the Black Gold for some time and that she had at one time lived in the trailer.
Yeah.
This woman, too.
She did, too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. On the night she called about 7:30, she spoke to Bobby Todd. She said Bobby had told her he had just awakened, had slept some 13 hours. She also said Bobby was in good spirits. Yeah, he just woke up from a 13-hour nap and he's got two naked 19-year-old girls running around his house.
Living a dream.
He's in great spirits. He's skipping around.
And he's got 2 pockets full of cash.
And he's got 2 pockets full of cash.
The smile on this
so
man's
happy.
face.
And a bodyguard, just in case. He's living great. This is terrific.
Holy
Mr.
shit.
Bluebird on my shoulder. He's fucking dancing. That's what made David so mad, is he danced out of his bedroom. He danced going, hey, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Hey.
Oh, there's a gun. Here's all my money.
He let him, before he shot him, he let him go through a whole verse of Zippity Doo-Dah, and then he was like, I can't take it anymore. I hate this fucking guy. He's too happy.
My God.
And I'm miserable. So, Jesus Christ. So, yeah. That's what happened. It doesn't take a lot in this trial. There's a lot of people saying, yeah, he told me he shot those people. He's got blood-stained clothes. His wife told his wife, I did it for you, baby. And then there's him just going, not testifying, but just saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Kind of tough. Does not take the jury very long to, by the way, one of those, I have to say this, after talking to Bobby, this woman talked to one of the other girls in the house, and she told the Sandy girl one of the 19-year-olds, that she was coming to pick her up around 8:30 to go to New Orleans for a trip that had been planned earlier. So
she was almost out of there.
An hour later, she'd have been in a car going to New Orleans, and instead she's dead and nude and shot on a trailer floor, which is never good. So he is convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is bad news for him. Now we're going to sentencing.
Yep.
And he is begging for some fucking mercy.
Sure.
Aggravated factors are
through the roof.
Multiple. Yeah. The way he killed the girl. Stolen weapon. He did actually use it in commission of a robbery. Right. Whether he said he did it to make it look like one or not, he shot a man and walked away with 2 folds. Yeah. So that's, and also the multiple death situation under this in the same act is all aggravators.
Premeditation.
Oh yeah, premeditation coming out of his ass. As mitigators, they talk about his church work. Yeah. They talk about his dad died young. He had a troubled youth, but he tried to come back out of it, and he went to college, and he's been counseling youths, and he's been helping people, and he's had drug problems, and he's a nice guy. They brought that Culpepper guy in, the elder of the church, to talk about how he walked around a broken leg building a church.
Dante's Uncle Donald.
Oh boy, you know it. Helping teenagers and fucking, just doing all these wonderful things. And that cashier that he knew from the bank talked about he was so generous and he's a trustworthy man that will repay a loan and he's a good guy. His brother, Dale, came in here and described him as a generous and unselfish person who's never been convicted of any crimes. And, Dale was the one who said, look, if you want to know the truth, I think that he blames himself for his daughter's death and his daughter's injury, and he's never recovered from that. And he's my brother. I've watched him fall apart since then, and he's doing drugs, and he needs help. He's a fucking mess. That's what he needs, not the death penalty. And the judge says, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty. Absolutely. He says, I think that's what he does need, the judge says, and this is going to be in the electric chair. This is not going to be in any civilized manner.
That does make sense because that was Harry Connick's dad's favorite thing. Like he had a chair on his desk that would
Jesus,
you could
disturbing.
Press the button.
Yeah.
It was fucked up.
Well, the chair was not even operational. The chair was in storage.
Yeah.
At this point, right away, the state seeks emergency funds to repair the electric chair. They're preparing for the first.
It broke down.
It wasn't in use because the death penalty was abolished. So they're preparing for the first state execution in 18 years.
Wow.
At that point, they said they asked for emergency appropriation to repair the electric chair. They sent a letter to the governor asking for $30,000 to rewire the chair, which was last used in 1961, and also to construct a building at the prison at Angola where executions can take place. And the first one they want up for this is David. They're like, he's going to be a good experiment, see if the chair works here. Yeah. So he was the first Louisiana convict sentenced to die under the new law that gives trial judges the authority to sign death warrants rather than it was a jury-judge situation there. So $30,000 to get the chair in working order and going. So this comes around. They get the chair all worked. They got it all polished up.
Got their loan
or got their emergency appropriations. 1981, he is all set for execution. All set to die. And then 2 weeks before his scheduled death here. By the way, Gruesome Gertie is what they call the electric chair.
Not old Sparky. They went with Gruesome
Gertie.
My Christ.
Which sounds way too worse. Creepy and celebratory.
Yeah, that's really dancing on a body, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's also like we're going to have cruel, unusual punishment. And
we're going to call it not cruel, unusual, and then we're going to name the fucking instrument Gruesome.
Cruel, unusual, I think you can put, I think Gruesome's worse than both of those.
I would say so.
So, that's bad. So, anyway.
My God.
He gets a federal appeal of his case at this point here. They issue a stay of execution.
Who the fuck calls it that? Like the prosecutor?
That's what they all call it.
Really?
That's the name. Like Old Sparky is Florida's. His is, that's Gruesome Gertie. That's what they've always called it. Gruesome Gertie. And they brought it back. So it's fucking crazy, man. So they do get the federal appeal here. So on the appeal, they call Dr. Richard Gary, who's an expert on the effect of drugs, as a witness here. He testifies that one of the common effects of PCP is an amnesiac response. Amnesiac? How do you say amnesia?
Amnesian?
Amnesiac.
Okay.
I don't know if it's amnesiac or if wouldn't that be a person, an amnesiac?
Probably. Amnesian?
An amnesic response? I don't know.
Okay.
That is, they don't remember either completely or they have complete amnesia, or it's fragmented. They remember part of what went on during their trip. A lot of times they don't remember completely, and if it's fragmented, they'll remember things that happened an hour before, but not 2 hours before. He also said they seldom remember the event in very clear detail. He said it's possible for someone under the event influence of PCP to remember the event for a short time and then forget about it. Okay. He said it's not uncommon. He says it in approximately 10% of the cases, people will forget about shit and then remember later and then forget again. Weird. So the brain spots here. Now, the record does indicate here that his counsel failed to conduct a reasonable investigation into the intoxication defense. Like we said, they never talked to that Dr. Bird again. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. And he had a testimony. He had a conversation with the lead counsel telling them that, he should do that. The lawyer manifested no awareness when he testified in the habeas case. The lawyer comes in and testifies. He goes, I never even knew he was messed up that day. He never told me shit, which they did have a meeting with the doctor. So that's not great. Apparently, the lawyer failed to pursue the investigation suggested by Dr. Bird that were necessary to make a decision concerning the intoxication defense. And both counsels apparently failed to familiarize themselves with Louisiana law on the availability of an intoxication as a defense. So they didn't even check into it. And also they say that Martin's instructions for his lawyers to obtain an acquittal or the death penalty did not justify his lawyer's failure to investigate the intoxication defense. Because he said, they're trying to go, well, he said either acquittal or death penalty. So that's intoxication defense is you would have gotten manslaughter or something, so that's not what he wanted. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, well, that doesn't mean you can't investigate it at all, because he didn't even look at it. They also say, the appeals court, quote, uncounseled jailhouse bravado without more should not deprive a defendant of his right to counsel's better informed advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, they also say that Martin fails to show that his defense was disadvantaged because he had failed to show that a reasonable investigation would have produced evidence that he lacked specific intent to kill. Testimony by both doctors, Bird and Gary, established only the possibility of such evidence, but not that it actually existed. But the fact that they didn't investigate it means that they'll never have that evidence, and he can't do anything about that.
Right.
So that's like, great, thanks a lot. Mm-hmm. Your lawyer was shitty, but, we can't tell how shitty he was now.
Oh, no.
So I guess it was fine. Yeah, so they all testify for him at the federal habeas hearings. They said the habeas court, they were trying to show that Martin suffered substantial and actual disadvantage when his counsel failed to authorize further medical evaluation. He talks a lot about the counsel. Also, he said that the intoxication defense, the court says, by taking money from the murder scene and by disposing of the gun, he demonstrated his lucidity immediately following the homicides, which is true. He tried to cover it up.
There you go.
That's a big deal. Both doctors testified at the hearing that amnesia is a common symptom of PCP intoxication, yet Martin was certainly not an amnesiac immediately following the murders. He gave repeated, detailed confessions that night. So
that's
another thing. Given these facts, no jury would have accepted the intoxication defense, even if were to conclude that he had demonstrated actual substantial disadvantage resulting from his counsel's ineffectiveness. Doesn't fucking matter. Also claims that he was ineffective counsel was in the guilt stage of the trial by failing to present evidence establishing that he was undergoing severe emotional turmoil about the death of his child, and the evidence may have convinced the jury that maybe he was only guilty of manslaughter. I guess. They said that he should have investigated and introduced evidence of the personal difficulties he was experiencing in the months before the murders, his daughter, and everything like that. But the court says Martin's counsel cannot be faulted for failing to pursue the manslaughter defense simply because the evidence simply didn't support such a theory. So there's that, which makes a lot of fucking sense. They said his daughter was born 8 months before the murders, so they say it's hard to put that into that. Plus, his unemployment wasn't a new development. This had been going on.
Been there a while.
Yeah, his wife's infidelity with Todd took place 2 days before the murder, so they said he should have cooled down by then. It's
but that's still a motivator.
Yeah, but they're saying, like, it's not like she told him and he marched right over there and did it and didn't know what he was doing, like, wasn't the heat of the moment. So that's what they're trying to say. They said a reasonable jury would have likely concluded that at the time of the killings, his blood had cooled, is the way they put it, and his counsel cannot be criticized for pursuing a defense of such questionable merit. Now, also, he challenges the sufficiency of the evidence supporting the aggravating circumstances found by the sentencing jury. The court found that, Jesus, Martin knowingly created a risk of death or great bodily harm to more than one person. Which, yeah, I don't know how he could say he didn't. They said that the court's review of only one of the two aggravating circumstances violates the 8th and 14th Amendments. God damn it. And they said, no, it doesn't. You're good. You're fine.
Even if he has the argument that he didn't know what he was doing was going to hurt anybody, after the first guy dies, and you do the same thing to three other people,
he probably knew.
Yeah,
I think he's seen what guns do. Also, he argues that the court erred in denying his request for a mistrial after a police officer testified that his wife told him the shirt she gave the officers belonged to him, and that's hearsay. They didn't establish it on their own. She told him that, and then he got up in court and said, Gloria told me that this was his shirt. So he can't say that. Gloria has to get up and say, I told him that was his shirt. Okay. If he says it, they're trying to say that's hearsay, which... Wow. After they said the clothing was admitted into evidence, he said, quote, the blue jean shirt was received by Detective Bordeaux from the wife of Mr. Martin, and the trousers came from a bathroom at the residence that Mrs. Martin identified as belonging to her husband. He objected and requested the judge instruct the jury to disregard the comment, and the judge did. He did instruct them because it is hearsay. Later in the trial, he testified again, quote, this is Officer Bordeaux. This is a shirt we picked up out of the house which Gloria Martin gave to Detective Lorette and said it belonged to David Martin. Again, he requested that the judge tell the jury to disregard, and he does, and then he requests a mistrial, claiming that such hearsay statement prejudiced the jury because they heard it twice. Okay. So they said just telling them to disregard, it's not enough to cure the whole situation. We got to throw the whole case out. Fuck out of here. He was irreparably prejudiced, he said, by that one statement. They said that the judge handled it the way he should have handled it. They said that a mistrial is only warranted when a trial error results in substantial prejudice, not that. It was his shirt. It was in his house. Nobody else's shirts are in his house, period. Another thing, he said the court erred when it denied his motion for a new trial based on the discovery of new evidence. He said this is his big evidence thing. Yeah. The discovery by the state of the victim's blood types constituted new evidence of sufficient value that he should have had a new trial. He says that his argument is that the evidence admitted at the trial that type O blood was found on the kitchen counter in the trailer, combined with the discovery after the trial that one of the victim's blood type was type O. He said that supported the theory that the victims were killed somewhere else and their bodies were transported to the trailer, which makes no fucking sense.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, they said that in this case, discovery of the blood types was not so material that it would have produced a different result than the verdict reached. Yeah, little things with blood and shit. They said the presence of blood all over the trailer, including the walls, weakened his theory that the bodies were moved. Additionally, no other drops of blood were found in a direct line between the victim having O blood and the kitchen counter, nor were any drops of blood found outside or leading into the trailer. Yeah, 4 people who've been shot 15 fucking times would leave a trail of blood if you drug them somewhere, I would imagine. So that's that. They say it is affirmed here. The United States Circuit Court of Appeals noted that this was a divided case, though, 4-3 vote.
Really?
To keep the death penalty. 4-3. 3 people wanted to shit can the death penalty because it was too many little things, but none of them on their own were enough, and you really can't do a cumulative thing. Right. But if you're on that board and you go, there was like 10 things that were questionable, let's just not do it. Whatever. So
4 were like, sure.
before we're like, let's do it.
Okay.
There is a dissenting opinion. They say, here, we'll give their little quote here. David D. Martin stands, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that. His crimes are unpardonable, and he certainly deserves the severest kind of non-capital punishment. However, the evidence does not prove with the high degree of certainty required by law that Martin's acts were marked by the type of bestiality or misanthropy, which I believe the legislature intended to recompense with death. The jury's finding that the offenses were committed in an especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel manner was clearly erroneous, nor was the proof that sufficient that Martin set upon his course of conduct with knowledge that he was creating a risk of death to more than one person. If you're going over with a gun in your shirt to pick a bone with somebody, right, you're fucking putting right there, there's a risk. Furthermore, the mitigating of evidence clearly offsets the evidence of aggravation as to make the death penalty inappropriate in this case. Yeah. That's the dissenting.
And I get that they're trying to, you got to do that in an educated way and use words that are very clear and precise, but fucking never.
It's a legal document.
Never use the word bestiality in anything. No. Yeah, I don't care what you're trying to illustrate. All I see is a dude raping a dog.
Outside of animal fucking, keep bestiality out of it.
Keep that word out of here.
Because now it sounds like, did he fuck a dog too?
Bestiality does not mean what they're horse? Intending to have that mean anymore.
I think he fucked a horse when he was killing. I just read in the paper he fucked a horse. I'm pretty sure.
Bestiality and conjugal do not mean what the dictionary says that they mean anymore. It's over. It's prison fucking and fucking animals. That's all that is.
So the last hope is the clemency board. Mm-hmm. That's the last hope. And to the board, his sister comes in, Luvina Farinola. Yeah. Jesus. She lives in Wheeling, West Virginia. So they've just picked the greatest places to spread out to. She pleaded with the board to stop the execution, saying, quote, I don't want to see him die. I want to see him go through the trauma of it. I don't want to go through the trauma of it. The family, I just can't picture David committing a crime. Well, he shot these people.
Well, yeah.
And,
you didn't have to picture it.
It's there. We have pictures. We can show you the pictures if you want.
We can show you so you don't have to.
There's a lot of them. I mean, you don't have to see it yourself. Another sister said that Martin had always been carefree, smiling person who counseled troubled youths from the time he was a teenager. She said, quote, I can't believe that because, no, this is him. I'm sorry. Here's what he says. He does not give last words at all. These are kind of his words here. I can't believe that because one night I acted out of character. I know what I am inside. I couldn't willfully take another person's life. I don't believe I am a defect of society. Then he said, to take someone's life is out of character for me. It is not David Martin. I'm devastated at what I have done, but I can't remember it. My life has been dedicated to saving lives, helping people, not destroying people, but I know I wouldn't willfully take another person's life. Something bad went down, but it wasn't David Martin. I wasn't right. I don't know. That's all. I wasn't right.
Terrible statement.
I wasn't right. I don't know. That's all. Yeah. He used himself in the third person. It was not David Martin. I'll tell you what's not Harvey Weinstein. Touching these girls. That's not Harvey Weinstein. So, yeah. Wow. His mother, 3 sisters, and half-brother all attended the 5-hour hearing with the board. And the board announces a 5-0 decision to go through with the execution. Wow. And with no comment either. They didn't even give a comment. They just said, nope, we're going to kill him. Family.
How awesome is that? They
Jesus.
They just all point at him and go, no.
Nope. Well, I'll tell you exactly how it went down, actually. One of the sisters here, she said, quote, afterwards she was crying and said she doesn't want to see him die. He's touched the lives of so many people spiritually, intellectually, and personally. His mother and sister were all there, like we said. He was very calm at the pardon hearing. He, I guess after they announced it, the warden came over and told him that it was whatever, and they said that he showed little emotion. He nodded to acknowledge that he understood, and then he turned to his lawyer and shook his hand and told him, he said, quote, you've been a good friend, and shook his hand. Yeah. So thanks for helping me, basically. Before this, Jesus Christ. So the clemency board here, they're trying to get people to not go before the clemency board. That's what the state's not only trying to execute them, but trying to kind of take down the last hope they have here. They say they can go to that to get a temporary reprieve. And what ends up happening is you have like a month. Mm-hmm. So you can delay your execution at the last minute for a month. That's your game that you have. And they're freaking out about that rather than just take it into note that he's going to delay it a month at the end because they can go to the clemency board. And so that they're trying to get rid of it, even though none of them have been successful up to this point. Doesn't matter. One of the board members here, or one of the guys who runs the thing, said, quote, "It's obvious why they are coming to the board after their legal appeals are exhausted to try to get more time," which, yeah, obviously.
Also to... In the event that somebody is fucking innocent and they're going to the... Don't you want every filter, every opportunity to look at it?
What's a
the
month?
difference?
Who cares? Let's take a look at it. Let's take a peek. Maybe something crazy happened. You never know.
Maybe we'll find something where somebody overlooked something. Wouldn't that be fucking
then
wild?
You can find a really bad guy that actually did it, and you can kill him, fry his balls off,
look,
or whatever
look
the fuck.
Look at... we're going to take a look at it again and then be like, extra fuck you, we were right. There's no wrong in that.
No, it's ridiculous. And now after this, apparently after this happens, that your time is up. Once the clemency board said no, he went quote straight to the prison's death house.
Wow.
From the clemency hearing here. They said that this delayed the execution while they waited for the case. They said, quote, this has been turned into a bigger event than it is as far as an imminent execution. The federal courts have recognized for years the right of the people to have habeas hearings, and I can't imagine that somewhere down the line federal courts would deny to David Martin this hearing, since it's been granted to countless other people. This is a normal legal due process that's open to all defendants. Mm-hmm. They were acting like it was like, are you kidding me? How can he possibly ask for a fucking clemency here? Right. No, we can't have this. It was like, no, this is what we do.
This is exactly why we set the system up.
Part of the system. Right. Don't worry about it. Fucking relax. So, go to the death house here at Angola. He was calm and he remained hopeful. When the warden told him about everything, the warden said, quote, I went over and told him. He reacted to it very calmly. He thanked me for coming and said they were going to try again, which they can't there. Gruesome Gertie is back again. Like we said, despite the whole thing, the electric chair was moved to a cement block administration building in a secluded corner of the prison farm. That's where this is.
That's way worse.
It's like this. Yeah, that's like being taken to the corner of a farm into a shed to be executed.
You're literally taken out back. Yeesh.
This is disturbing. So yeah, well, it gets worse. So you know who oversees the electrocution?
No.
You would think what?
The governor.
Oh, well, I meant like to oversee to make sure it works okay.
A doctor and
no.
Who?
Jimmie.
Who?
A medical professionals, one thing they don't do is kill people.
Right, that's a good point.
They're not. It's kind of the first thing that they're said they're not supposed to do is kill people. Even a medical examiner,
a hitman,
a coroner, the guy who takes the body and puts it in a bag and puts it in the back of the thing and takes it to the coroner. That guy,
fucking lunch lady.
No, a licensed electrician.
Oh,
that's who oversees an electrocution.
The fuck?
A licensed electrician.
A
Jimmie.
guy that comes out to fix your GFIs is gonna.
I'm just. By the way, my jaw's dropped and I'm just shaking my head.
I'm here to make sure we don't blow a fuse.
What the fuck are you talking about? Are you fucking kidding me?
The guy that just went through an HVAC class.
I think he's dead. I don't know. Did you check his? I don't even know. I'm not a doctor.
Is the circuitry still? We blew nothing.
The lights are on.
He's probably dead then.
So I did my part. I think. I don't know what y'all are doing.
That was a whole hell of a lot of electricity.
Wow.
He's got to be dead.
Holy shit. So the chair had been.
You know, if it's just one of them stands back after that and goes, "Woo!"
An electrician.
Did y'all see that shit?
The funny thing that they made sure to say that he was licensed. That's the funny part. Who cares? Is it union? Does it matter? What the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
That is unbelievable.
Jesus Christ. A licensed electrician. Well, that's who I want to oversee my last moments on Earth.
A guy with a name tag.
Fucking this guy. Are you joking? He's like, are we going to be done soon? Because I am installing a surround sound in a house out in New Orleans in the suburbs for a while. Those housewives, they get angry if you're late.
It's kind of a drive, y'all.
I really got to get this cooking. See? I'm pretty funny, too. Whoa.
Holy shit.
This electric chair had been stored in the warden's garage. That's where they kept it. This is small town murder, everybody. This is what I'm talking about.
Move the snowshoes. We got an execution today.
I'm sorry, honey. You can't keep your car in the garage. I know it's hot, but you have to keep your car out there because I need to keep the electric chair in there. Sorry. No.
Oh, Christ.
I was going to put my wood shop in there, but I got to... Gruesome Gertie in there. Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
So the execution time comes. There was 3 demonstrators outside the prison gates.
Yeah.
3 people. Normally there's a big crowd. You see 3 people, and they were the family of the murder victim, one of the girls, and they said, quote, "I don't know if we're serving a purpose, but we're just here to show some people are for capital punishment." So they're there.
They aren't even protesting.
No, they're there supporting the death penalty there, and no protesters. No, this guy it's like it never happened.
Unbelievable.
Not only that, we'll talk about this in a second, even the newspaper did not send a fucking reporter there to cover it.
What?
Not even the fucking Houma, whatever the shit, where nothing is happening anyway. They didn't even send a newspaper to oversee this thing. Nobody. They just did this shit in the dark, which is creepy. I'm sorry.
It makes it feel a little more gross.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird.
But if there's a fine line between news coverage too, because it needs to be a little bit, but not so much that we're like, we're killing somebody today.
Yeah, but there should at least be like, this happened today, and we were here. I was there for it to make sure that I saw that they had a licensed electrician overseeing that. That's the type of shit that the press is there for.
Right.
That people can then go, they're using fucking electricians.
Right.
That's wrong. And because they're not going to tell you that shit otherwise. Right. They're not going to come and go, we use electricians to kill people, right? That's not going to be the first fucking thing they're going to tell you. So
there was an electrician here today, and he said, quote, "Woo!
Woo! Look at that bad boy go.
Y'all see the flame on that motherfucker?"
So David meets with his relatives for about 30 minutes after the hearing. The warden said that, quote, "They were telling each other goodbye. They seem to be a very loving family." They asked if he wants to say anything to the press. Does he have a statement he wants to release to the press? Not that they're here, but, we'll mail it to them. And he said no. They said, "What do you want for dinner? Last meal?" And he said, "No special dinner.
Motherfucker.
Just give me whatever." So he ends up eating a final meal of sloppy joes and French fries.
Oh, Christ.
That is not a good final meal. That's one of the worst we've heard.
A prison sloppy joe?
Prison sloppy joe. There's all sorts of onions in it and shit.
It's got to be much worse than any sloppy joe you've ever had.
Yeah.
It's not even manwich, which is like bottom rung sloppy joe.
It's like 60-40 meat, too. Like it's 40% fat. It's chunks of bone in it.
It's just 60-40 with chunks of bone and then barbecue.
Yeah.
That's it.
And fried French fries.
Yeah.
His attorney, Richard Shapiro, not Robert, Richard, he got the other one. He said that he got the other Shapiro. He said at that time that the jurors who sentenced him to death were never told he'd been taking PCP the night of the murders, and that's his thing. The warden said that Martin and his family, they were talking and reading the Bible, and I asked if there's anything special he wanted to report to the news media, and he said no. He said he had a last meal of sloppy joes and French fries. He didn't want anything special. That was the fare. That was what was on fare for everybody that night. And then the warden also said he seemed to be in very good spirits, which I think is taking a little far.
Would you like to say anything to the press? Fucking what press?
What press? Yeah, maybe he did say yes, and they just weren't there.
No idea.
Sure, and they were like, "Well, there is none." And he was like, "I guess not then." Never mind. So they jolted him 4 times. The first of 4. It was the first of 4 jolts. It's 12:07 a.m. He had his hands on the chair. The only thing they saw, witnesses said they saw a wisp of smoke rise from one leg. He had a pair of jeans and a white T-shirt. They moved his T-shirt to check his heart, and you could see his "Love Gloria" tattoo on his chest.
Oh shit!
Just like he should have loved Gloria a little less, maybe, and none of this shit would have happened. One of the people witnessing the thing here was a guy who was an death penalty guy. And he says, I was sitting there looking at the chair. I looked over to my right, and as I did, suddenly he was there. He's the man I'd never seen a picture of. He was the man I'd never seen a picture of, who I'd only known as David by references from the warden. I'll never forget that almost hysterical look as he looked out. It appeared as they pinched his leg for a moment, he almost appeared angry and then kind of glared out at one of the officers. He glared at them for a moment and all of a sudden went back to an almost dull look on his face. It was almost like you got a picture of when you lean back and say, it's going to be over soon. That's the expression most of us had, as if I closed my eyes and I thought it was going to be over soon and then I'd wake up and it would be okay. But as he was in the chair, suddenly one of the guys tilted his head back swiftly and there was a strap that goes under his neck. I would never expect anyone to be treated gently, and there may be something psychologically positive about treating someone very firmly right there. This guy was just trying to make sense of the whole thing. He says, though, quote, if David Dean Martin died that night, he should die for more than just a segment of society that wants blood, any eye for an eye. If a young, impressionable person could see that, it might make an impression for a condemned man to say, this is what I did, this is the life I took. So that's his opinion there. And they finally, at the end here, they talk to his lawyer, who sums up his life perfectly. Richard Shapiro says, with David, quote, it was either guns or it was, God damn it. With David, quote, it was either God or drugs.
Yeah.
That's it. One or the other. No fucking third gear, first or fifth. And that is Houma, Louisiana.
My word.
That is quite a fucking tale of insanity.
What a story, James.
And I don't even know what to say there. Yeah. It's Jesus Christ.
I don't know. There's closure.
It happens. This is one of those things where you could see this shit unfolding. Yeah. Like you could see it coming from a mile away, and you could see it. And
You're
it's
talking
like,
about Mr. Todd?
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, that too. But the whole thing, you could see it unfolding, and it's building, and it's fuck, man. It's
so horrible, man.
Yeah, and you wonder if the right person would have talked to him between Friday and Sunday. Yeah. If he would have changed his mind or changed his mindset. Yeah. If he talked to his mom or something, I don't even know.
Maybe
somebody
he did, and he just couldn't understand the words coming out of anybody's fucking mouth.
That's true. They were all, that's true. He'd been down there and they all had Texas accents. He goes, I don't understand English. So I've been in Louisiana too long. That's possible. So, well, anyway, that is Houma, Louisiana, south of New Orleans, which should be the name of some kind of fucking blues record. Yeah. South of New Orleans.
Get it together, Tab.
Yeah, that's the one. Tab Benoit, get on that. There's a free record title for you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for everything. What you need to do, if you like that show, is get on Apple Podcast, the purple icon there, and give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions or directions or whatever. It's not, we don't care what you say, honestly, because you can't fix us with words. Mess. We're a disaster, but it helps on the business end. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs, t-shirts and everything. There's all sorts of new stuff up too. I know there's new shirts been released this week. Really cool Shut Up and Give Me Murder shirts that she's been working hard up there and doing all sorts of cool shirts. So check those out. Also, get your tickets to live shows, damn it. Finally, Charlotte went on sale, so get your tickets there.
That's going to be fun.
It is. Cleveland and Columbus, but first is Orlando and Tampa, then Orlando, 2 weeks from now, I think. So get your asses out there to see us.
2 weeks from today.
Do not embarrass yourself, Florida. Don't have us come back after this whole tour in December and be like, man, that was great, except for Florida. Right. Don't be that guy always, Florida. Just don't. Just make it better.
For once, come through.
Come through, buy some tickets, come see us, because we're going to be really excited to see you guys. We fucking can't wait. So do all of that. Also, follow us on social media. Oh, by the way, tickets to Crime and Sports in Phoenix, because some people are saying, even if they don't listen that much to Crime and Sports, they want to come anyway to see a live show. Phoenix, CB Live, October the 19th. It's going to be hilarious. It's a wrestler. Trust me, it's going to be a hilarious story.
Tickets are going up
no sports, all crime. Yeah, I think next week they're going up. So get on that and check those out. Follow us on social media so you'll know all of these things, so you don't have to say, are those tickets on sale? Yeah, you'll know. People email us and ask us that. It's like, you'll see links. We'll get them right there to you. Follow us there. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Get us on any of those. And if you want to be a hero, one of our goddamn heroes who we're going to sing their praises about right now, you can do that super, super easy by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports. You can do that, or you can go over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. Very easy to do that. Both of those are available through shutupandgivememurder.com. Links right there. You can do that. And now it's time to talk about some of these amazing people, these beautiful, wonderful, fabulous people who keep the damn lights on for us. Tell me all about these people like you got a 357 in my trailer living room. Hit me, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Clay Thorson, who lost his pug this week. I'm really sorry about man. That. Rest in peace, Gonzo. Jordan Bennett, thank you very much, Jordan. Bridget Decker, Amy Spicer, and happy birthday, Susanna Platt. It was her birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
For her birthday, she wanted to give us a gift.
Wow, that's amazing. Sweet. Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
Sonny Johansson, Ryan Kleinjan, Robin McGrail, Pat Fox Leonard, Callie Shinkunis, Mike, David Salazar, who donated twice both ways. Thank you, Mike.
Wow, thank you.
Or David, Jesus. Anthony Canella, Ian with no last name, Carell Edja, Michael Bustamante, Savvy Cortez, Gary Howard again. Thanks, Gary. Peyton Meadows, Joshua Smith, Kira Bai, Meredith Ottery, Darwin Huron, Jesse Pitts had a new baby. Thanks for your donation, Jesse. You're a good dude. Brendan Abels, Zach Cloud, Emmanuel Christian, Kelly Higby, Nikki Waterman, Steve Schnell, Edward Kaczynski, Mark Vasquez, Damian Barney. Wait, no, I think that's wrong. That might be it. Damn it. May Ringstad, Aaron.
You're not sorry.
Aaron Cerati, Hannah Pratt, Emma Banner, Michael McGuire, and then Hannah Pratt actually donated in memory of Brett Henke, who he died, but he was a big fan of both of our shows.
Oh.
And that bums me out to have one less listener, too.
Yeah, that totally sucks.
I like having people listening to, all our fucking
I like
bullshit.
Them to not be dead.
I like when they dig it. Thanks.
Yeah.
And rest in peace, Brett. Richard J. Thompson, Adam Udani, Melissa Tharp, Steph with no last name, Amanda Berrigan, Zach Taylor with an X. Do you want to guess if that's
Zach Taylor with an X?
With an X. Zach with an X.
It doesn't fit in there.
No, it doesn't. It's XAC.
No, it's not.
Zach, your mom hates you, Zach.
Jesus Christ. Poor kid every time. He's like, no, Zach I know.
I get it. My mom loves Xanax and white wine.
Yeah, trust me. I fucking understand.
Tiffany Bourne. Haley Ellis, Linda with no last name, Holly Arnold, Jeremy Doan and Jeremy Phillips, Anthony Burton, Justin Sarr, Sutton Marvin.
Justin. We love Justin.
We do.
Justin's my boy.
Is it Marvin Sutton or Sutton Marvin? It came through as Sutton Marvin. That's fucking... Jesus.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. Retta, whenever they put that comminated name, when they put the comment, then his name
comminated?
Right.
That's definitely a new term. I've never heard that one before. Is your name comminated? Yes.
Retta Ekstrom, Savannah Cortez, Courtney Michelle, Camille Mendez, Eraser? No, Fraser Smith.
It's a more normal name than Eraser. That's the first name.
I don't know. Alexandra Dolezal, Mark Young, Michael Stepanek. Yes. Eliza Grammung, Cynthia Munford, Martina Liluanga.
Yeah, Martina. We know
she's
Martina.
In San Francisco.
San Francisco girl.
She's
Thanks,
terrific. Nicholas Kreider, Sarah with no last name, Jude Kendall, Mark Protrowski. Yeah, Protrowski. Aubrey Warminski, Panther Milk, Maddie Timmy or Timey. Chris Ross and the North donated.
Hey, Chris Ross
guys.
and the North. Good sense of humor on those
and
guys.
If you go to their Facebook page, you can find them all over the fucking North. They are everywhere.
They're doing well.
Victoria Stern, delusional. I don't know. Victoria Stern is not delusional. It's somebody named Delusional.
Okay.
Tina Russell, Ricky Bryant, Ashley Vio, Julie Hulen, David Albury, Justin Miller again. Thanks, Justin. Algina Huber, Ricky Bryant. I said that. Julie Hewlin. I said that. Chris Glenn, Victoria Houts, Marissa Cardenas, Donna Basingwaith, Carmen. Oh boy, Carmen Mitochondria. No. Marchiandra.
Hey,
I think
that's good.
Carl Doyle and Trace
like
Childs, and of course all of our Patreon supporters. You guys really make this show work. So thank you so much.
thank you, everybody, for all that you do for us. You guys are the goddamn best, and this really isn't possible without you. So thank you a million times over. Just we can't thank you enough. That said, what if somebody wanted to tell you to stop fucking their wife and to quit keeping 19-year-old naked women around your trailer, Jimmie? How could they do that? Where could they find you?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. This truly was a fucking nearly unbearable week, and you guys made it much more bearable. So thank you. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description if you don't want to be kind of crazy and having to try to do that. So very easy to do that. Follow us and all that good shit, and we're excited to talk to you. Yeah. But that said, it's been a wild week, and it's over till next week. We need a couple days off of this whole thing. So thank you guys for everything you've done. We will definitely see you next week. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.